This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. Well, right now on JList, of course, they have their September snack boxes available. You can get their DX September snack box, which includes many yummy snacks such as March of Koala, which many of us remember, and in a caramel flavor. They have, let's see here, they have Lotte Topo milk flavor. The topos are some of my favorites. Fujita lemon squash gummy brown sugar coated fava beans. That's a little interesting. There you go. Plus Kalbi Grand Jagabi from fromage flavor. Pokemon Ototo. There's all kinds of stuff in here, including anime-themed snacks and candies. And of course, when you sign up, you get a drink and a $5 off JList coupon for anything else on the website. When you get over to JList.com/box, you can check out their snack boxes. So get yourself something delicious that you can eat while you watch our podcast. And now it's time to start the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at AAAPodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 435th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, Mitsugi, and I am joined here by the full damned crew today. We have a man. He's located in New York City. He's in Brooklyn. He's very handsome, and he has a massive burrito. His name is Enzo. What is up, my friend?
Yeah, that's right. I do have a massive burrito. What's up, guys? It's nice to be with you guys today. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Oh, he's got some high tension. And of course, in the blue corner, we have the mother of ferrets, the reader of manga, and of course, the mother and slapper of anime boy butts.
Hello.
Her name is Mandy. What is up?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody?
Doing okay.
Did you just wolf down that burrito, Enzo?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
well
fast.
done.
Enzo is the burrito.
I feel terrible.
And of course, we have my brother to the right here wearing a Pokemon t-shirt. Pokemon trainer. I'm sorry. I know you worked many years, many sacrifices. Pokemon trainer.
Look, I have traveled
Kazuo.
far and wide to claim my rightful place. I don't know the rest of that song.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
And welcome to all of you listening at home, watching live, listening while you do whatever chores you're doing, while you commute, while you work. We love all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Everything you do for us, we'll give it back to you in much love. How about that?
Oh, yes, we will.
Wow.
And if you would like to visit us, you can do it at our website, AAAPodcast.com. There's a few things you need to know about that website. First of all, you can join the Anime Addicts. You can contribute to the podcast, and we will reward you with 8 extra podcast episodes per month. We just did a live watch party on Azumanga Daioh episodes 1 and 2, which is
so cute. Holy shit.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
A random and hilarious comedy anime from the early 2000s that many people probably haven't seen because it's 16 years old at this point. And, of course, you can also get access to our Discord channel on the homepage along the top. Also, you click the Join the Discord button. It takes you to the Discord where we have around 700 people. There's always something happening. Last night we were playing anime music quiz with a group of about 10 people until 4 a.m.
Good Lord.
It was
That's
damn...
so ridiculous,
It's crazy.
And it started at 2 a.m. And I was like, I should go to bed. But it was just so much fun I couldn't stop. So the next thing I knew it was 4 a.m. And, of course, you can submit mailbags and get access to all of our information on the website, so check that out. Of course, there's also the Facebook group, which has several thousand people on it. You can join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/AAA podcast. While you're on there, make sure to ask Kazuo how to find the Discord.
No.
Very important points.
Oh, God.
And, of course, you can find everybody at their social media. Go for it.
I am at AAA Kazuo
That's right. On Twitter.
on Twitter, yes.
Yeah.
And on
You
Twitch.
can find, And on Twitch, you're right. You can find me on Instagram primarily at Enzobadia, ENZOBADIA. And Twitter, same thing. All good.
My Twitter is at Sarquindy01 because
You gotta fix that.
I say this every time because someone stole my name.
She has a vendetta against this person.
I do. Whoever took my Warcraft name,
Damn.
that they're gonna get it.
Did you get that name from like a random name generator?
Man, shoot, I don't even remember how I came up with that name.
Don't
was
ask her
like-
for her secrets.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It was like taking a few things and pushing them together.
Gotcha.
And of course, I don't really have a Twitter, so deal with it. So
Damn.
Podcast.
on this episode, we're gonna be talking about the most must-see story arcs from Shonen Anime suggested by Terrapin on the Discord. So I think this is gonna be sort of a list of some of the most incredible and awesome scenes from Shonen Anime, of which there are a lot to pick from. And of course, we're gonna be doing a review of Darling in the Franxx, which is the listener choice picked anime.
I believe it's a show that I originally failed. So
Yes,
I just want to put that
it
out
was.
there.
Oh my god!
Don't blame me. Don't at me. All right, I failed it.
Don't at me, son.
Come
Don't
at
me.
Kazuo. Just know that Kazuo really wanted to watch this deep down. He was really excited about it.
I hate
So
you.
Yeah, he was like willing to he was like making me watch it because how excited
guys,
he was.
you don't
to
understand.
Watch it, you know?
This is the most original piece of art I've ever seen in my life.
All right. Let's hold
no
on.
show before has ever stolen concepts from 12 other shows.
It's true.
Usually it's just one or two, but
It's
12?
very unique.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything else before we jump right into this into this mess?
Let's do it.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
Flying by the seat of our pants as always.
Oh, 大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Okay, well, we all know I love Isao Takahata.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
He died recently, unfortunately.
Yes.
So there's a
RIP.
new book out. Studio Ghibli's Toshio Suzuki has a book called Textbook Number 19, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, in which he reveals many details about the notoriously difficult to work for director Takahata.
What?
Toshio dives into stories about the production of Takahata's last movie, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, and the book discusses how difficult he was to work for. Suzuki describes Takahata as a person who let work trump everything, even when it, quote, destroyed many people. He describes Takahata as a person who never thanked, there's not a very positive light here, who never thanked any of the staff at Ghibli for their hard work, and his work demands caused the death of character designer and animation director Yoshifumi Kondo.
Yikes.
Damn.
So
That's a big yikes, man. And things like this always make me feel like I'm in such an awkward place. Like, listen, like I love the man's work, but like, man, do I not respect people that work like that and make people feel that way. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was reading the article. It says they had a 2-hour conversation where Kondo told Suzuki that Takahata had tried to kill him, and that even thinking about Takahata would cause Kondo to tremble. That's intense.
that is intense. To tremble.
It's difficult because, you know, of course, you look at somebody's art and the things that they've created in their time, and you're like, oh, wow, I really appreciate this, and I'm very fond of this, and what they've been able to accomplish. But that doesn't always mean they're necessarily the best person. They may be amazing in certain aspects of their life. Like he might be like an amazing father and husband, but you could be a complete dickhole at work. Like, I mean, it's just,
We all know that the Ghibli movies are basically the creme de la creme, right?
Right.
Well,
Yes.
there may be a reason for that. Like, it may be that to get these movies to look and be as incredible as they are, sacrifices have to be made. And even if someone has to die to make a movie,
Well,
that movie will be great.
Well, I totally understand that he's a perfectionist, but you still have to thank your fucking team. That's
agree.
rude.
I agree.
well, also another thing to keep in mind, just to kind of play devil's advocate here, is
Ooh.
I have to play
No,
devil's
bring it,
advocate. That's
man.
what I
Go
do.
ahead.
Is if you are in a position as an employee or as somebody who works for a company or what have you, that you are being driven so hard that you are on the verge of dying.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yes. You have to take some personal responsibility to be like, hey, man, I'm in a really bad situation and this guy sucks as a boss. I got to get the hell out of here. Like, a big part of that is your
Yeah,
own personal
but-
responsibility.
Okay,
yeah, but the
well.
thing is, like, they're at Ghibli, and they probably don't want to let that go.
I know, it's tough, but I
It's
mean,
tough.
you have to
That's
take into
why it's hard.
consideration what's more important to you.
Well, there's also.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Enzo.
Yeah, because I also think the same. Because like I get worked to the fucking ground like every week of my life, but I am okay with it because I know if it ever got to a point where it's terrible, I will say something for real. But up until that point, like I like the company I work for because it's gonna make me look really good. So
Yeah,
it's like a give and take.
2 more years.
You know,
two more years at your company, and you'll write your own ticket.
Right,
So-
that's what I'm saying. So like I know what I'm working towards, but like for if someone was in the situation and they didn't care about their company and they still didn't say anything, then that's like half unlucky, half like you're causing your own problem because you're not dealing with your own problem because you need to take ownership of the fact that you are not happy. Go get happy, man. It's possible.
Do we also know if maybe they might be under some kind of contract obligation? Like, I don't know how this works.
Well,
there are
true.
non-compete contracts. I don't know if it's necessarily in the animation industry, but I know a lot of companies do that. Like when I worked for something as simple as like I worked for a locksmith company, and if you quit, you could not work for another locksmith company for a certain
That's
period of
common.
time. Yeah, so that's common.
right.
but the problem in Japan is that like a lot of people, and I have friends, like I have a friend who works in Japan who's an accountant, right? And she
R.I.P.
she hates her company because she hates her job, but she won't quit because there's this sort of belief in some industries in Japan that if you're a person that isn't loyal to your company and you quit,
Yeah.
then the next company says, well, you're just going to quit us too. So like we're not going to trust you and hire you. So these people that work for Ghibli may think like, oh, well, if I quit this job, I'm never going to work in the industry again because no one
Right.
will ever hire me, and that's a terrible thing. That's not at
Yeah,
all.
'cause-
That's not my personal mentality towards working at all.
Right.
Probably Takahata has a lot of power too, where if somebody says, hey, we want to hire this guy, what do you think? You'd be like, no, he quit me. Don't hire him.
There, yeah, and as far as like the shock of being like, apparently Takahata was a douche, like you shouldn't be surprised because I mean,
Yeah, see that all the time.
Somebody who is that driven to push themselves to that level of excellence, 9 times out of 10, they are not the most balanced human. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of times they have major flaws because they are so driven to achieve something.
So Kondo fell ill and died in 1998 after his work on Princess Mononoke. During the cremation, Suzuki
man.
says that he heard a member of the staff say aloud that, quote, it was Paku-san, which is Takahata, that it was Paku-san that killed Kon-chan, wasn't it? And Takahata
my
quietly
God.
nodded, admitting it, basically. So he basically, it's almost like he was proud that he worked this guy so hard that he died. He's sitting there nodding at his funeral that he was the one that
Well,
worked him to
and
death.
we can't take away how he was he nodding in pride or nodding in like a somber acceptance.
Like
We don't know that.
yeah, like
It could be.
regretful
Yeah,
admittance.
Has Takahata said anything, like made any statements about this?
Well, he's dead.
Well, he's dead now.
Well,
but
he's dead.
prior to that.
Oh my god.
Mandy.
Oh, Mandy, go back
I was
and
thinking
listen.
From the
a long
grave, he
time
came
ago.
back.
I'm so sorry.
Well, he's dead. So, according to Suzuki, Miyazaki has. According to
I'm
Suzuki,
so sorry.
Oh my God,
I
hilarious.
was reading something else and I just blanked out. I'm so sorry.
I love it.
According to Suzuki,
She's like, oh wait, that Takahata.
I'm so sorry.
according to Suzuki, Miyazaki has claimed that he is the only person to survive Takahata. Miyazaki states that the studio continued to lose potential artistic successors due to Takahata's work expectations. You are, quote, overworked and exhausted. You have to prepare for yourself to break, said Suzuki.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand Miyazaki being the only one that can survive him because he's also completely insane.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
Suzuki mentions that a character in Miyazaki's upcoming film, Kimi Tachi wa do ikiru ka, How Do You Live, may be based on Takahata himself.
Oh wow, interesting.
I'm really looking forward to this
Interesting.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. So, I don't know. I feel
That's
kind
a
of
bummer
sad.
article, man.
It's a bummer. Like, you don't want to... I mean, most of the pictures and stuff of Takahata and most of his works are kind of... Well, Grave the Fireflies isn't very happy, but he... Up until now, I always thought of Takahata as like a happier type of person.
Yeah.
He always came off as being kind of walking around with the food in his hand all the time in the office and, kind of being the more lovable counterpart to Miyazaki,
Right.
which maybe Miyazaki's the more lovable counterpart to Takahata.
Maybe.
Takahata may be
Who knows?
worse than Miyazaki.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is insane. Oh my god.
Of course, when Miyazaki dies, Toshio Suzuki may write a book about him as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
We're gonna hear a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
about Miyazaki and how brutal he was to work for. So
you know they say
that's actually super good of a point. I'm not excited, but I look forward to whatever tea people are gonna spill when Miyazaki passes away about Studio Ghibli. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know. So, all right. Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I don't have the drop loaded.
I'm super embarrassed, but yeah.
Oh, Mandy,
that's okay.
You know what? We all make mistakes, Mandy.
I just blanked out for a second. I know. I'm ready.
I don't have the drop yet for the new anime releases on this laptop. We still have to buy a new tablet. Okay. So hot new anime releases. We got a couple decent ones here. Mr. Osomatsu-san, which is like a really popular show. I haven't watched it, but people in Japan are like ape shit over this. Is getting a movie in the spring of next year, titled Osomatsu-san the Movie. We premiere in spring 2019, and there's most of the staff from the TV show is returning. It's director Yoichi Fujita, the scriptwriter, the character designer. It's still Studio Pierrot. All of that is the same. Pretty much. Do you recognize any of the returning cast members, Mandy?
Oh yeah, all of them. And I think I could be wrong about this, but I really think one of the selling points of Osomatsu-san are the seiyuu.
Oh really? So which one of these is like the most famous? Which one's gonna sell the movie tickets?
Hiroshi Kamiya is super famous. Ono Daisuke's popular. Jun Fukuyama is Yuichi Nakamura. All of them are super popular.
What about the one
They're
that
all
plays...
like idols in the seiyuu.
How about the one who plays Osomatsu, Takahiro Sakurai? Is he famous?
Well, they're all brothers.
Oh.
But
well then. And all their names end in Matsu.
They're all super popular though.
Is anybody excited about this, or do we have any fans of Osomatsu-san amongst us? I'm not a fan.
I've never.
Not in me.
It.
Like I think I've dabbled in it. Like maybe no. I think I've watched a trailer for it, but I've never ever watched it at all.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Okay.
There are some jokes where it's clearly they're getting the comedy from the original Osomatsu-san. So yeah, people in Japan are probably gonna recognize it more than we are. So there's sometimes I'm like, I don't really get the joke, but then they put in some more modern jokes and it's really funny.
Okay. Next up, we have a new original TV anime, Hoshiai no Sora, is coming out. It's a new original anime that's going to be on TBS Anime Festa in 2018. It was announced at TBS Anime Festa in 2018. That's going to premiere next year. It's a baseball anime. Teen adolescent story revolves around coming-of-age boys and a junior high school's soft tennis team, which is on the verge of shutting down. In the video, there's a video in which character Toma Shinjo asks another one of the characters to join the team for his vaunted abilities and mentions a summer competition. So it's a tennis anime that's going to be coming out that seems hopefully a little more low-key than Prince of Tennis would be. So it's going to premiere next year. The director is the director of Vision of Escaflowne. So that's a pretty...
Whoa, that's interesting.
Wow.
Who also directed Heat Guy J, Bird the Mighty, and a bunch of other stuff. Studio 8-Bit is doing the production. It's who Studio 8-Bit did Encouragement of Climb, Infinite Stratos, Tokyo Ravens, Knights and Magic, and a bunch of other stuff. So that's pretty exciting. I'm always up for a new sports anime, regardless of the genre.
So especially tennis. Tennis is such a good 1v1 kind of setting where you can really test an individual's willpower in tennis.
Yeah.
But it sets a stage for a good drama with sports. So I'm in.
How do you guys feel about? Did any of you watch Baby Steps?
I did. I liked it a lot.
I haven't seen that one. No.
Baby Steps.
I haven't seen that. I also haven't seen Prince of Tennis either.
I've seen a bit of Prince of Tennis.
Is a good time, but not to be taken that seriously. Baby Steps is more like a realistic anime, in my kind of.
Yeah, Baby Steps.
I like them both, though.
They're having practice in a realistic way, and the tennis matches are more down to earth. Prince of Tennis, they'll hit 10 tennis balls in one swing with one racket. That would never happen. It's just silly.
Is it more like a superhero?
Yeah, it's like Kokoro no Basket, but
okay, cool.
Kokoro no Basket? Is that what you
Kokoro?
said?
Oh.
The love of basket?
Kuroko.
The basket's heart?
The basket's heart.
Whoops.
Oh, Enzo's Kokoro.
My Kokoro. Doki Doki desu.
Doki Doki. Chichao. All right. Wow. Who wants to handle the trivia? Don't all you guys jump
my
in at
bad.
once.
Sorry, guys. I was distracted with OBS.
We even got it color coded.
I see what you did.
I did the color coding.
This is his own
I see.
color.
And I
All
still
right.
screwed it up.
We're now color coding our documents, so we're getting used to this.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So of course you can head
That
over.
worked out beautiful.
Look, guys, the OBS is acting up. I was distracted. All right. So of course you can head over to our website AAAPodcast.com and scroll on down, and we have a weekly trivia question there. The answer to this week's question was now and then, here and there.
Hell yeah, it was.
And the correct answers were Nelly 1876, Chibi Rob, Full Metal Alcoholist, Mitsugi's Swole Arms,
That's right.
Oh, damn.
Fisting Her North Star,
Whoa.
Kiwi, Golden Jedi Link, Icy Rose, The Almighty One, Nisekoi Maiko, A Bearded Chair, Frosty Moon, Mexicanadian, and Eris.
That's right.
And the week for the winner is A Bearded Chair.
That's weird. How's a chair of a beard?
That's a good question.
I don't really know.
The new theme is going to be isekai anime. Is that right? Is that new, or is that what it's been?
That's what it's been.
Okay,
this
so
is the second week.
It is not a new theme, despite
No.
what the doc says.
Oh, well, you know what? Why don't you just,
I'm just saying.
why don't you just take it easy?
All right.
Okay? I'll
Well, look,
change that right now.
You know what? If you didn't get that, no big deal. We have an in-show weekly trivia question that we will answer after the break. It is a Name That Anime. I'll give you a synopsis. It says, one day, while she was walking down the street, a guy with multiple piercings and bleached hair flags her down. Suspicious of the stranger, she tries to get away from him, but fails and ultimately ends up meeting his friends, a group of third-year fashion design students at a prestigious, not pretentious, art school. Name That Anime. We will tell you right after the break.
Yeah, see you soon.
Hey, all you crazy anime addicts out there. You guessed it. It's time for your anime news break. Leading us off today, we have a couple deaths in the anime industry, which is never fun or easy to talk about. A famous mecha animator, Kunihiro Abe, died last Wednesday from an unspecified disease. He was only 50 years old, and he was very well known for his work in mecha anime, specifically Sunrise's Gundam franchise. They say that he was very liked and well appreciated in the industry because of his talents as being able to draw both mecha and characters very well, and his contributions to anime particularly shine in shows like Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, a new translation, Heir to the Stars, where he was able to do things like animate realistic parachute physics. So he was just an asset overall to the look and feel of an anime franchise, so he will definitely be missed. Next up, another death in the anime industry. Seiyu, our voice actor, Unsho Ishizuka, has died. He died of cancer, 68 years old. He was well known for many, many roles in the anime world, including Professor Oak, which is a big loss, Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball. He did work in Chaos Dragon, Terraformers, Vampire Hunter. He was Jet Black in Dragon Ball, or in Cowboy Bebop. He was in Banana Fish, Sword Art Online, Alternative, Gun Gale Online, and literally hundreds of other anime. So Unsho Ishizuka will definitely be missed for his talents in the anime world. Next up, getting us off of some sad topics, Crunchyroll has announced that the Haikyuu, the movie Battle of Concepts, is going to be getting a screening in the United States in September. They're going to be having theatrical screenings on September 19th, 22nd, and 23rd. And this is going to be part of the Crunchyroll Movie Night series, so you can get tickets to this on the Crunchyroll Movie Night website. The film is about the Haikyuu. It's the third season of the popular anime series' Haikyuu compilation film, which focuses on the Kurasuno high school boys volleyball team as they prepare to face off for the national championship. Despite being known as the Fallen Champions, the Kurasuno High boys volleyball team is highly determined to take down the powerhouse Shiratorizawa High boys volleyball team. So if you're a fan of Haikyuu or you've seen this movie already, maybe you haven't seen it in theaters, so you might want to check that out. And rounding us out, anime Iya na Kao Sare Nagara O Pantsu Misete Moraitai is getting a sequel. Definitely an ecchi show. The series has 4 volumes of novels and one compiled volume of manga in print, with the latest 5th Okawati volume being released, well, it's about a week ago it came out. So if you are a fan of this property, it is indeed getting a sequel. All 6 episodes are going to be available on September 1st. There was also a Comic-Ket edition on Blu-ray that was available at one of the booths at Comic-Ket, but unless you were in Japan, I'm guessing you missed out on that. But it looks like you're going to be getting some more of your Sade Nagara Opansu anime property coming up in the future. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, as always, it's time to get back to the podcast.
Mandy, I've got a great idea.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, what if, now hear me out, what if we did additional episodes? I'm talking hobby addicts, after parties, maybe even hentai episodes, if you're nasty.
Well, I mean, we already do all of those.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, we've been doing that for like years.
How did I not know about this?
You've been in like a ton of those episodes.
Come on, Mandel.
My name is Mandy.
Okay, Medward. You know I don't pay attention to things like that.
Like yourself speaking?
Huh? Well, I'm glad now we're making millions off these extra episodes.
Actually, they're only like a couple bucks a month.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go to AAAPodcast.com/join, you can sign up to get access to all of our extra podcast goodness for just a few bucks a month.
Whoa, that is a steal. All right, so where do I go to sign up?
I just told you. AAAPodcast.com/join. And besides, you're in those episodes.
Huh?
Just go to AAAPodcast.com/join already.
You've heard of Confessions of a Popedom, but now comes the heartwarming tale of Kazuo.
I don't know any country songs, so I'm trying to like sing along to songs I don't know and getting drunk with some grandma.
From the best-selling authors of Her Moe Majesty and The Best Yuri Bartender in Florida comes Growing Up Kazuo.
First time I was in a shootout, 2 years old. South Bronx, going across the street in my baby stroller. My uncle was pushing me, and a shootout broke out in the middle of the street.
Be there through the formative years.
So I was 16, I think, and my family went on a cruise to the Bahamas. For some reason, they thought it was a good idea to give me and him, his name's Steve, our own room.
Idea.
These 2 young men, let's give them their own room. What trouble could they possibly get into? As we're walking onto the cruise ship for the first time, we're walking through the hallway. There's like a door that's ajar, and I open it and I look inside. It's like a janitorial closet, so there's like brooms and mops and whatnot. And there's also a big bottle of whiskey just sitting in this janitorial closet. And I'm like, okay, mental note, close the door. So later on that night, we pick up the bottle of whiskey, get completely trashed. We're basically drunk the entire cruise.
Will a child's dreams come true?
It wasn't even an option growing up. Like it was a dream that a young poor boy had. And then I was like, one day I'm gonna go to Japan. And it was like,
Believe it. I'm gonna go to Japan.
and I was like, that's never gonna happen. That's not possible. Like at best, you will not end up in prison.
And tales of young love.
My first like real kiss. Like we've all had like when we were kids, these little peck, you're playing spin the ball or something like that. But my first real like sexual kiss, like makeout session. And we end up, her and I make our way to her bedroom. So this is about to get super explicit. She's got him on one side, me on the other. Then have you ever heard of an Eiffel Tower?
Growing Up Kazuo. Flying off bookshelves everywhere. Order yours now on Amazon or by visiting www.AAAPodcast.com. Now, back to the show. All right, my friends, welcome back to episode 435 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast.
Wow.
Now, Kazuo, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Since I know you've been listening since episode 1, basically.
Right. Correct.
Is that right, episode 1?
Yeah.
Did you ever think this would get to episode 435?
It's so many episodes.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if or when this will ever end, to be honest with you.
With my death.
with your death. No, it'll continue
Someone
on.
read a book about me, and it's like, he nearly drove Kazuo to death.
I feel like we've built a
He
legacy.
drove us all up a wall.
Kazuo drove him to death.
Manyo chime in. What does Mitsuki have to say about this? And Enzo will be like, well, he's dead, so.
No,
Oh my god.
I'm already embarrassed.
We'll be at the,
Oh, Mandy, we love
that's
you.
so good.
we'll be at the
That is
funeral
so
and somebody
good.
will be like, did Kazuo really drive Mitsuki to death? And I'll just nod, smile at the same time. Yeah, I did.
People will be like thanking you for giving you medals. Thank God, we thought it would never end.
I feel like we've built
Oh
a
my
legacy, though.
God.
I feel like this podcast will never end, even with our passing. We've got young Mandy and Enzo now.
That's true. In my will, I'm gonna say, Enzo and Mandy, please carry the torch, and in my dead body is gone, but the legacy and the passion remains.
That's true.
How does one say no thank you to a will?
Damn.
How rude.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to need another host.
All right, so who's reading
We
this?
also got it fixed, so now Enzo and I can hear the drops, and I finally heard the music, and it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That's
Me
awesome.
too.
I'm so happy.
I love
That
how
felt
we
great.
did that, guys.
It definitely wasn't me.
Good job, Kazu.
I'm just saying, look, I'm
job,
not
Kyle.
one
Good
to
job,
pat
Kyle.
It
my-
wasn't me.
Look,
I did nothing.
I don't want to draw any attention towards myself, guys.
I did
Mhm.
nothing. I want you to know that.
You know, but somebody did it.
On this document now, Kazo, who is orange?
Enzo's orange.
Me,
Enzo
I'm
is orange. My brother. Go for it.
So before the break, we asked you guys a trivia question to answer while we were on break. That question was: one day while she is walking down the street, a guy with multiple piercings and bleach hair flags her down. Suspicious of the stranger, she tries to get away from him but fails and ultimately ends up meeting his friends, a group of third-year fashion design students at a prestigious art school. The answer is Paradise Kiss, which I love.
Kiss.
I have not seen that.
I knew you'd love this. It seems
Kiss,
like
kiss, fall in love.
that's
Wait,
Wait, that's not that. That's
Wow.
no. That's Oron High School.
I did it on purpose. I just did it because I had the word kiss. No, what the fuck?
Paradise. Might be a stupid question because I haven't seen Paradise Kiss. Is it by the same person who did Nana?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking the art
Yazawa,
looked
I think.
really similar.
Yes. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same lady.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I still need to check it out. Sorry.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, it's good. It is a good show. So, are we ready for everybody's favorite part of the podcast?
Lunch.
Mandy's manga minutes.
Lunch. You say lunch?
Yes, that's
Okay.
my favorite part.
Mandy's manga minute. Here we
I'm
go.
starving.
Nap time.
And now, let's take a minute for the manga minute with Mandy.
Alrighty, so Mandy's manga minute is where I take a minute to tell you about a manga you may or may not have heard of, and hopefully help you find something new to read. And this week, I'm doing The Drops of God.
Oh yeah,
Did I start a little bit too soon on that one?
No, it's
Because I
perfect.
can actually hear the drop now.
it's perfect.
Okay, good. Alright, so The Drops of God. Shizuku Kanzaki discovers the beauty of wine after his father, a famous wine critic, dies and leaves an unusual will. A description of 12 wines he considers to be the best in the world, comparing them to Jesus Christ's disciples. The first people to find these disciples will inherit the father's wine collection. A contest that puts Shizuku against his adoptive brother, Issei Tomine. I think that's how you say his name. Issei Tomine, who works as a sommelier, and I may have butchered.
Sommelier.
Sommelier, there we go. So The Drops of God is a seinen drama written and illustrated by a brother and sister team, Yuko and Shin Kibayashi. And the two decided to go with a pseudonym and call themselves Tadashi Yagi. The series is completed with 44 volumes out in Japanese and French. It has also been published in English by Vertical Ink, but it only has 4 omnibus volumes have been released, and the 4 volumes cover the first 8 of the Japanese series. The publisher then released a 5th book in English that jumps ahead in the story to the 7th Apostle arc under the name Drops of God New World. And the publisher stated that the reason for this was because it was on the author's request, and said, tell your friends about the manga so that the rest of the series can be released in English. But despite this, the series has been listed on the New York Times best-selling manga list. All the wines featured in the manga are authentic, 100% authentic, and the series goes very in-depth on how wine tastes, what factors into a wine's quality, and how it is made. The series has been known to boost wine sales and popularize certain brands that were shown in the manga. The series has also been featured in many prestigious French wine magazines.
Wow.
One of them I know was the Decanter, and they did a series on it. There's also a live-action adaptation, which aired in Nippon Television in 2009. This series is new to me. I only recently just started. It's been on my list for a while, and I've had the first omnibus volume for a while. I just now started reading it. The series goes very in depth on how things like the wine's age factors into the taste, why it matters, how like grapes where the grapes were harvested can make a difference. It's very technical. It's similar to how like Food Wars conveys how a food tastes like with visual metaphors. The Drops of God will do something very similar to that, and like to express how a person feels when drinking a wine, how it may taste, and the series is a very mature seinen though, so if you have no interest in wine at all, you may have a very hard time following it. But if you have experience drinking wine, or you just have an interest in it, there's a lot to learn about from this book. It's very technical and teaches you a lot about wine.
Are you a wine drinker, Mandy?
Are you a wino?
No, actually, I don't really drink a lot. I do drink wine very, very rarely, but I do have an interest in it though.
But you like this manga?
Yeah, so far I haven't finished the first omnibus yet. I think I finished volume 1 of the manga because the omnibus has volumes 1 and 2. I'm about halfway through it.
I think for me, it's like I'm not necessarily interested in wine, but I am interested in how things are done and like
yes,
yeah. So
same.
I think even I would be interested in something like that.
We are currently right now for this Wednesday's manga club, we're reading Monster.
Oh.
And so for people listening live or people who have like early access, that is this Wednesday coming up, which is the 22nd.
So get into the Discord.
Then 2 weeks after that, so September 5th, we'll be reading this book. That's when we'll be discussing Drops of God, which is why I'm jumping into it right now. I was waiting until we got up closer to the manga club date, so then I didn't forget things.
Man, you guys are reading Monster. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, unless we have to reschedule, because sometimes we have issues with people not being able to make it to Wednesday, because it's a really weird time zones too. Some people can't get out of work early enough. It can be rough. But
yeah, well, we got people in we got people in Europe, Canada, Australia,
New
Zealand. I mean, it's like there's people everywhere. So
South America,
or even just on the West Coast. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for Mandy's Manga Minute. That was a very unique selection. The main topic today is most must-see story arcs from Shonen Anime, suggested by Terrapin from the Discord. So, and we've had a couple like pretty serious, high production episodes the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And let's kind of just chill out and have talk some Shonen,
reminisce on some of our favorite Shonen moments.
That's right.
There's a lot of Shonen.
There's a lot of Shonen in the world.
There's a lot of Shonen in the
no
world.
shit.
I feel like most of us were probably introduced to anime via Shonen, especially like our generation.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not me.
Not you. I mean, what was your introduction into anime then?
I think I just started high school, and a guy introduced me to anime. Gave me a bunch of stuff. He gave me just like a big like stack of stuff to watch. It was like, here, watch these, and they were Ghost in the Shell, X the movie, Fushigi Yugi, and I think that was it. But before that, I had seen Sailor Moon and Cardcaptors. So
that guy had a crush on you for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Was that guy
Definitely.
Yeah, he did.
That was definitely making you an anime mixtape. Like that's what
anime
people
mixtape. That's genius.
That's so nerdy and
so
cute.
It sounds like you kind of got into it a little later on in high school. So yeah. I think most of us probably got into it when we were kids.
Whatever happened with that guy, Mandy?
She's married to him now.
What?
Yeah,
no, I'm definitely not. I don't know. We just after high school just stopped talking.
Was there any kind of like did sparks fly?
Did you say a fooly cooly?
You're such a cornball. Oh my God.
No, nothing happened.
Oh, that poor guy.
We were friends for a while, but just kind of died away.
Oh, you got friend zoned?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
That poor guy.
no.
Not intentionally. I mean, I don't know. He never told me.
Mandy.
never
Mandy,
made
he
a
told
move.
you. He told you. You just didn't hear it.
Oh, I'm
boy.
so sorry.
Okay. All right. So I want to start with Dragon Ball Z. I think it's obvious.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah. So my first anime was My Neighbor Totoro, but
You know what?
Dragon Ball Z was really the introduction.
Before we get granular into the different anime,
Oh God.
I just so happen to have pulled up a top 10
no. Oh, no.
greatest,
Oh my god.
most epic anime scenes.
Here it comes.
Let's do it.
Now,
Let's do it.
here's the thing. Some of these are definitely not shonen.
Is this freaking off of Honey Feed? Because that
No,
website
this is
terrible.
off of ranker.com.
Ugh, we're
As
never
Good
gonna.
old Ranker.
Well, are
Good
we
old
going
Ranker.
by shonen, like it has to be by Shonen Jump, or just in
No,
the
just a
genre?
shonen show in the
I think
genre.
the genre is shonen.
Okay.
Well, this first one's definitely not shonen.
No, well, there are young boys in it,
For like one episode.
which is Guts versus Zod and Berserk. That's number 10.
I
So
mean, that is a badass scene.
Oh,
that's a
gotcha.
badass scene. Then okay, this one is definitely shonen in Gurren Lagann, and this is a minor spoiler
Oh,
for the
God,
first like
not really.
7 episodes of Gurren Lagann, which is Kamina's fall.
He dies like a little bitch.
It was really
No
upsetting.
way. I like his stuff.
It was really upsetting.
Was it?
Number 8 is also another shonen, Code Geass, which is a shonen, right? It's about a young, like he's a boy.
There had to be boys to be shonen.
I mean, shonen literally means like
It
young
means
boy.
it's for young boys.
Yes. Well, I would say Code Geass is probably for maybe. I don't know. Either way, it's when
Whatever.
Lelouch declared it. The
I
United
always
States
went
of
off
Japan.
of where the manga was published. Because if it was published in a shonen manga, then I assumed it was
Well,
aimed
but
at
not
that.
all like shonen shows are based on manga.
Oh boy.
Like
The
shonen
debate begins.
shonen is a genre that is for young boys.
Yeah.
Now, if you were saying
mean,
like
like-
shonen TM, like shonen like specifically by a shonen Jump manga, then yes, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But just the shonen genre doesn't necessarily mean it was published in a specific place.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a broader, I guess, definition that we were kind of going with. Attack on Titan is number 7. Aaron's mom getting eaten.
Yeah, well.
Sick.
I mean, yeah, okay.
One Piece. I've never seen much
I am
of One Piece.
Whitebeard.
Something about I am Whitebeard. I don't know who Whitebeard is.
king of the pirates.
Oh my god, no. I've
Number
never watched
5.
One Piece either, but I mean, people love it.
Oh,
People
this
love
scene
it.
is badass.
Number 5 is from Hunter x Hunter, and it's Gon's Rage.
Have you seen that scene?
I haven't
Yes,
seen
I
Hunter.
have seen
He
that. scene.
literally-
It's good shit.
He literally becomes an adult. Like is that the scene we're talking about here? He's a child. Gon's a child,
Yeah.
but like he literally like transmogrifies into his adult form, where he's like just unstoppable.
Transmogrifies.
Whatever. He becomes like an adult. His like rage and energy changes.
Oh,
him.
this one where his hair gets super tall?
Yeah, well, that's not what Gon looks like initially. Gon is a little kid,
Oh, okay.
but like, you know what I'm talking about, Enzo?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
All
a
right.
pretty badass scene.
So that's number 5. Number 4, is Vegeta's Pride from Dragon Ball Z.
Where he
when he gets taken over by Majin Buu, or,
Yeah.
or I guess by
Bobbity or
yeah.
Bibbidi or whatever.
And then he like self-destructs and he's like, "You'll never take a Saiyan's pride," and then he just like blows up. Or first he punches his kid in the stomach.
Man,
And then knocks him unconscious.
Vegeta lost his pride the minute he let himself become Majin.
Yeah, that is true.
I needed a crutch to fight Goku.
he gave into steroids, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave it to
basically.
steroids.
Number 3 is from My Hero Academia, which is when Nomu attacks, that Nomu fight, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
That was a cool fight. I like that fight.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd put it in like top 3 of all time though, but whatever.
I wouldn't either, because there's plenty of other fights that are cooler than that. But it's a good,
Okay.
it's a good event.
Number 2, I don't know if this is shonen. Cowboy Bebop.
I would not say.
I wouldn't
this.
say so. But it's-
I wouldn't say it's a show.
yeah. So they had the bang from Cowboy Bebop, the very end.
Yeah, where Spike dies.
And if it
was
is
back.
shonen, I don't think it's a
he's
shonen
dead.
that we're gonna consider for what we're discussing about.
So number
Yeah.
1 is definitely shonen. Number 1 is in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Roy Mustang's revenge. That's when he gets revenge
Hell,
on
yeah,
Lust
dude.
for killing Mace Hughes. That moment was sick. Another really
Yes.
awesome Roy Mustang moment that I love is from the movie Conqueror of Shambhala, which wasn't a great movie, but the scene so in Conqueror of Shambhala it takes place after the first season or first series, and Roy has like kind of moved to like He's guarding some base in the middle of nowhere in like some snowy tundra type area, and stuff starts popping off in the main city. And so so he finally hears about it, and he's like, all right, fine, I guess I'm going back into action. And so he hasn't used his abilities in a very long time, but he shows up and just starts blowing stuff up left and right. It was the most badass scene. I love it. But yeah, so that's not bad. It's not a bad top 10.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad, except half of those weren't shonen shows.
That's true. All right, well, what do you want me to do?
Well, what do you want me to do?
All right, fine.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, so many great scenes.
For me,
Too many great scenes.
For me, the best part of Dragon Ball Z is the beginning, when Nappa and Vegeta show up. The Saiyan saga is the best part.
With
of
the whole
Dragon Ball
saga?
Z. The whole damn thing, man. And particularly the fight with Goku and Vegeta.
That fight is awesome.
There is a mailbag
that's pretty
later
cool.
that I will address this again, but
The part where Krillin gets the spirit bomb, that was an awesome scene.
yeah, I just like it. I like Dragon Ball when it's more down to earth and a little less outrageous.
I see what you did there.
Oh yeah.
It's on Earth.
Yeah, that's right. It's technically, it's true. Although, do they really call it Earth?
They do.
Okay, so it's Earth. It's just not our Earth.
Right.
So, because I mean, Dragon Ball Super was fine in spots, but like it just gets out of control and ridiculous.
It's too over the top.
It's at the point where Goku's a god, and it's just silly.
I thought Dragon Ball Z was at its best, like up to, like honestly, it was at its best up until like the end of like the Frieza arc. Then it started getting a little crazy. The android arc.
I like
was
the
still,
androids.
The androids was kind of cool too. Cell was good.
So basically, all
I
of
like
it's good.
Cell
But
a lot.
Majin Buu, I did not like. I did not like that whole arc. Majin Buu can just screw right off. I don't care about that. But right up until like the end of the Cell arc.
I just love the scene. Like particularly, I love the scene where Goku's shooting the Kamehameha, Vegeta shoots the Gallic gun, and they have like the blue and the purple
it's, like, coming
beam
down.
collide, and it like explodes and blows everybody away, and the mountains disintegrate, and it's
Dude.
just epic.
That
whole fight. That whole fight is awesome.
That was awesome. I will say personally, because it's my favorite team up of all time, took place on Namek with Gohan and Krillin.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Like that, I
That's a
love
fun
that
fight.
team up. And when they're of course I watched the dub growing up, as I'm sure you all did as well. But when they're about to fight the Ginyu Force, and then Krillin's like, "Let's turn up the heat," and they're like, "Ah!" I'm like, "Yes, go tiny people!"
And then they get their asses stomped.
Yeah, well, they did all right against
Raccoon.
Goldo.
Well, Voldo, I mean, he sucks.
It's true.
Yeah,
But
my favorite Dragon Ball Z moment is the father-son Kamehameha that won
when he fought
against Cell.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
I love that the most. I mean, there was a lot of fucking dialogue that whole time, but it was cool when it was Gohan holding out his
With his one
Kamehameha
arm.
against Cell's, and then everybody else was just trying to like distract Cell enough for Gohan to get his one like split second of like distraction,
Mhm.
where then Goku came in and then like spiritually helped him blast Cell to fucking smithereens.
he's
I
talking to
love
himself.
that part, dude.
He's been driven insane by his own fear.
What?
That's where Gohan's talking to dead Goku, and Cell's like making fun of him how he's talking to himself like
Oh.
he's lost his mind.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
That
I
was
don't remember
awesome.
that either, but that's a good line.
Dude, when Trunks gets freaking killed, basically, and then Vegeta loses his shit
Yes.
fighting Cell.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It doesn't accomplish anything.
No, he doesn't. But it was
Like
cool to see.
always.
It was cool to see him emotional about his son.
Vegeta's such a loser.
I know. Has he ever
I
won?
love Vegeta though. He's such a broken piece of shit. I love him.
Or how about going back a little bit earlier when Piccolo sacrifices himself for Gohan.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude.
Amazing.
Damn.
Then they milk the crap out of it in every Dragon Ball movie.
Gohan
And
doesn't
he does the same thing.
Gohan doesn't get much done either, but he has impact.
Yeah.
Like he damaged Raditz. He damaged Frieza.
Yeah. Well, he's like 8 years old, if that.
He killed Cell, dude.
Right.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean,
Then he becomes a giant loser, and
then he becomes a nerd.
yeah.
Um,
What other
But
Dragon?
hold on,
any other Dragon Ball?
but the thing is, the question here. So I think Mitsuki answered the question the right way. So your favorite arc, you said, was the Saiyan saga,
yep.
right? My favorite arc is the Cell saga. I love the whole android shit and the way that fight resolves. So Kazuo, like, what is your favorite arc in Dragon Ball?
Oh, I didn't realize we were talking about arcs. I thought it was like scenes and moments.
Well, that's the question was specifically story arcs.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind then. My favorite arc in Dragon Ball Z would have to be. That's a tough one. It's got to be It's got to be the Namek arc.
Wrong.
I just love everything that happened on Namek. It did drag out a lot at times.
A lot.
Damn lot.
But I don't know why. I just really enjoyed that.
You know,
I mean, let's not forget that's when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time.
Yeah, that's when he goes Super Saiyan for the first time. I mean, there you have a lot of like interactions between like Krillin and Gohan and Bulma just out there on this planet by themselves with like no real backup.
You know a fight in Dragon Ball is low key forgotten.
What's that?
Is when Piccolo becomes a Super Namek when he absorbs Kami, and then he fights Android 17.
Yes.
That's freaking. They like fly to a different island so they can fight in private, and they like.
And he's like beating his ass.
They just go ridiculously hog wild on each other.
Dude, what I love is when
who wins that fight?
Cell.
Cell comes in and
Cell comes in and absorbs Android 17.
Oh yeah, and then nobody can beat Cell at that point.
Another great Piccolo like moment is when he fuses with Nail, and then he goes off to fight Frieza.
Yes, I feel good. I feel good. I can do this.
Yes.
And then he gets his ass whooped.
Whoosh. Well, he's beating him up for a while, but then Frieza's like, that was only 1/16.
Not even 1%.
He's like, that's only level 2. I've got 5 levels. It's like, all right.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on.
All right, what else you got on here?
I like Hunter x Hunter. The Kimura Ant arc is really good.
I have never seen Hunter x Hunter.
Particularly,
Same.
I've seen several scenes from it because people keep telling me to watch it, but I just
Same.
I don't have the time to start Hunter x Hunter.
Are you a big
But
Hunter x Hunter
I've seen-
fan, Mandy?
I've seen enough to like know epic parts.
I have not seen Hunter x Hunter. I've only seen like a handful of episodes, and I just like you, a lot of these shonen I haven't seen because whenever I see the episode count, I'm like, I just can't.
It
I
is
can't.
long.
So,
You're right.
but,
You're not wrong about that.
everyone has been telling me watch the Chimera Ant arc and just that, so I need to do that. That's all I hear about.
There's a badass fight in the Chimera Ant arc between the Chimera Ant King and the leader of the like Hunter Guild, whose name escapes me. He's like an old dude. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember his name. Maybe you'll find it, Kazuo.
I wasn't looking that up.
But so they have this fight. He's the only man that can basically fight the Chimera Ant King because he's so powerful. And they go through what the hell is his name? Leader of the Hunter Guild.
I have no idea, friend.
I'll find it. And this guy basically Netero is his name. And Netero they go through this whole section where they're talking about, they go through his training, like they explain how he trained, and it's just completely inhuman. Like he do things like stand on one foot in the snow for like 3 years. I mean, it's just complete madness. His training regimen is, he's barely human at this point. He's such a freak, like spiritual and physical specimen that he's just on another level than almost everybody else that's ever existed. And they sort of portray it in the sense that there was a time in which Netero would have been the most powerful person in the world, including any of the characters that are in the present Hunter x Hunter. But at this point in the show, he's really old. He's like 100. And so he's kind of like Roshi, right?
Okay.
He's just super old, but he can power up real well. But, when he was in his prime, he would have been just unspeakably powerful. Mm-hmm. And there's this scene where, like, in the Chimera Ant arc where the Chimera Ant King will he slices off one of Netero's legs. They're having this duel, and Netero you think he's lost, but he just stands on one leg and he punches his thighs and seals the wound. The wound kind of closes and he's on one leg.
Oh my god!
He does this crazy bodhisattva or whatever, like a Buddhist prayer where he summons a giant Buddha with 100 arms, and it's like the size of a building, and it's just fighting against the Chimera Ant King.
Jeez.
And the fight goes on for 4 or 5 episodes, and it's just ridiculously badass. Not only because the Chimera Ant King is so powerful that no one else can. He's so powerful that fighters can't even fight him because they're so paralyzed with fear they can't move.
He has a really unfortunate name though. The Ant King.
Well, he has a real name, but that was like a big plot point in the show, so I'm not gonna.
Oh, all right.
But also Netero is known to be such a ridiculous badass, but he hasn't done any fighting until that point in the show. So you finally get to see this epic duel between the two of them, and a lot of crazy cool stuff happens in that scene, and I'm not gonna spoil it. Just know that it's one of the most memorable fight scenes I've seen in any shonen show, and definitely worth watching. But you're right, Mandy. You're already 130 episodes in at that point. So it's it is it's more than a commitment. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, so I actually have seen like I actually seen the episode for this fight, and it is awesome. It's straight awesome. Like this fight is ridiculously cool. I back what Mitsuki is saying for sure.
I love the giant Buddha that's just like slapping the Ant King into walls and stuff and beating the shit out of him, but he's just unstoppable, and so the fight goes on for a while. So
interesting.
Yeah, usually if I see a show has more than 60 episodes, I'm like, one day. Maybe another day.
Yeah.
And then I never get to it.
And somehow that's like most shonen shows.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe you could watch 60 episodes and then just stop. Like that's the cut.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think most of these shows are just meant to be enjoyed over years, though. It's like you'd watch an episode every week or whatever. Not like binged within a period of time. There's just too much.
Hunter x Hunter definitely ran for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So at least the later one. Naruto.
Dude,
this is not my area. This is someone else's area. So
I know.
Same.
I know a lot about Naruto. Enzo, how are you on Naruto?
So do I.
Okay.
I loved watching Naruto.
So Naruto, the original series, not Shippuden, but Naruto had a bunch of really awesome arcs just overall. In fact, I would say almost every arc was really good, obviously except for all the filler stuff. If you just skip all that, everything else was great. So like the first arc would have been when they went to the land of the waves, hidden in the mist, and they fought Zabuza and Haku.
That was a good fight,
dude.
That was a great fight, dude.
That fight was amazing and very emotional, and like watching it as a young person, and it's like, it's a show for kids, and so you're like, oh, you have bad guys, you have good guys, and the good guys beat the bad guys and everybody celebrates. But then you realize, like, when in the instance of Haku and even Zabuza kind of towards the end, it's like they were bad for sure, they did a lot of bad things, but like they had their own kind of motivations that you understood. And especially with Haku being as abused as he was as a young kid, and then finding Zabuza, who's the only one that cared about him, even though the reason he cared about him was really kind of messed up because he just saw him as a tool. But like Haku was so happy that he could even be a tool to someone, because like he was just disposed of, and he gave his own life in protecting this person. So
that Zabuza really loved him sort of.
Yeah. And then at the end, like Zabuza is like dying and crying as he's dying, kind of like manly tears,
of course.
And he's like, I wish I could go to where you're going. And it's like, oh, dude,
oh my
are
God.
you serious? Oh, so emotional. So that's
good stuff. That's good stuff.
It's like his Zabuza's going to hell.
Yeah, because he knows he is. So
yeah,
that was amazing. Oh, go ahead.
My favorite, one of my favorite arc in Naruto to this day is still the first Chunin exam.
Yes,
because
with the forest and stuff,
bro.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the part where they have to like 1v1 each other, because I personally love when the world suddenly becomes huge, because up until that point you only know like the Leaf Village and Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura and like the rest of the class that they're a part of. But then all of a sudden there's like, oh, there's like other villages, and like, oh, there's like kids in those villages, and oh, they're all coming here, and oh shit, they're all gonna fight, and they all got superpowers. Like, let's fucking go. So that's just, I love
let's
that.
Let's go,
like,
dude. How about,
I love that stuff.
I mean, two names, Rock Lee, Gaara.
Oh shit,
dude,
that
fight is sick,
dude. When Rock Lee is like going off, and then he's like, he gets the permission from his teacher to take his ankle weights off, and he drops them, and they just explode the ground because they're so heavy.
That is that's a fight I would never forget in my whole life.
Dude, that fight was insane.
Yeah, that fight. And he's moving so fast, the sand can't even keep up.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
can't even
amazing.
See him.
Amazing.
But yeah, so that's my favorite. That's like to this day, like that's still my favorite part of Naruto, because it just the world multiplied like tenfold, and new characters, and all the characters you already knew and liked just popped the fuck off. So it just gave you everything you want, man.
Mandy,
good stuff.
Mandy, do you remember that scene, do you remember that part of Lunar where you go through to the White Dragon's cave in the beginning?
Quark?
Yeah, Quark's cave.
Yeah.
And then after you do that, you like set off on your big adventure through the forest.
Uh-huh.
That's like that moment in Lunar where the world opens up and you go on your big adventure.
And you're like, holy crap, there's so much more to this world. Is that what it is?
Do you think so, Mandy?
Sure.
It makes my heart.
Mandy's not paying attention.
It makes my heart feel warm.
I haven't seen Naruto. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm talking about Lunar.
Yeah,
I'm sharing.
but
I'm sharing.
But she
I'm
can't relate it to Naruto because she's never seen it.
yeah, I can't relate it because I haven't seen it.
I think Shippuden had some good arcs as well. I never finished Shippuden, or I
Totally.
should say I haven't yet finished Shippuden.
Oh, it puts the poo and
But
poo down.
there are some great moments there,
kidding.
like the moment when Itachi dies. Spoilers, of course, this is all spoilers for a show that finished airing several years ago. But when Itachi dies and
Hitachi, like the computer company.
I'm sorry, Itachi, Itachi, which is Sasuke's brother.
Sasuke's brother.
When he dies and kind of reveals to Sasuke why he did what he did and that he was trying to protect everyone, and then you're like, oh crap! Like it all just mind blowing moment right there, where it's like it's way more complicated than good guys and bad guys. It's like, he did some bad things, but the reason why he did them was because the good guys were not as good as you think they are, and it's like so that was really crazy.
Characters are rarely pure good or pure evil.
Yeah. Well,
there's a
Good
gray.
characters are not pure good or pure evil.
exactly.
Speak for yourself. Goku is a good character. He's pure.
He's
good.
pure good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh.
All he wants to do is fight someone that's strong.
Although no, he is an absentee father as well,
and
Yes.
and an alcoholic.
and an alcoholic. So yeah. And then of course in Shippuden the whole arc with like Jiraiya and
dude.
and
yeah.
fighting Pain, and you go back into kind of his history and everything, and how he met Pain when he was a child and everything, and then how that ends.
I like watching Jiraiya fight Orochimaru
Oh yeah.
when they have like their giant summons.
Oh yeah. The giant snake and the giant
Yeah.
frog.
Yeah.
So that was
the frogs are the coolest for sure.
yeah, that was really cool. I also like the flashback of what's his name? Oh my god. With the one Sharingan eye. What's his name? The teacher, Naruto's teacher.
Kakashi?
Kakashi. Thank you. Good lord. When it goes in like flashbacks to like when Kakashi grew up and how his father, I guess, killed himself, and then Kakashi became like super serious about, being a perfect ninja and stuff, and like his whole thing with Obito and him dying and giving Kakashi his eye. Like that whole arc was awesome too, that flashback.
Does Kakashi stay relevant?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not he becomes the Hokage for a period of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. He's not the most powerful. I think he is he's
well respected.
He's very well respected, and he's the most, like, he knows the most jutsu. Like, he's the most capable, but he just doesn't have unlimited chakra, like Naruto and Sasuke have and that kind of thing. But he is insanely capable.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Anybody here seen Bleach?
Yeah, I've seen Bleach.
The Aizen arc is probably just the best arc.
Dude,
in
yeah,
Bleach.
the
Aside
Soul
from that,
Society
like
arc.
it kind of just goes to trash. But the Aizen arc is the arc for Bleach.
Yeah. So the one where they kind of sneak into the Soul Society to save Rukia, and then you find out who the bad guy is, and it's like, what? That was one of the major mind blowing moments in anime for me as a kid, when it's like, because Aizen was just like the sweetest, nicest guy, like he's always there to help everybody, and then all of a sudden you realize he's a diabolical maniac, and he's
And like the
responsible
leader, he's like the fucking bad guy.
Yeah, that was nuts. But kind of everything else in Bleach is like meh. Like, yeah, there were some cool parts where they went to the hollow world or whatever, and that was kind of cool. But like, Bleach kind of crapped the bed for me.
Bleach did.
Me too. I stopped watching after a while. Like after they started going to the what are their names? Like the Arankar?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that arc is where I dropped it. I was like, I don't care about this.
We can always
So I
skip
stopped.
Bleach if we don't like it. I just wrote it down
Yeah.
because I know it was popular.
Oh, we just talked about it though. We just talked about the Aizen arc. That's
Okay.
really the only good arc though.
All right, moving on. We got a lot of these.
Gundam Wing. I don't recall any specific arcs. I just like the space battles.
Yeah, I
That's
just like
it.
specific moments in Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
like, oh god, what's his name?
Which
The guy
mech?
with Death Scythe. What's his
I don't know. Hiro Yui.
Duo
Maxwell.
Duo.
when Death Scythe gets like blown up and Duo is like screaming and stuff, that was pretty epic. Or in Endless Waltz, the movie that follows it, that like just seeing that final battle was insane, dude. And they all kind of got their upgrades. So you get like Death Scythe Hell and then all the other upgrades of all the different Gundam. So that was pretty sick. So there were just some cool fight scenes in that. I wouldn't say there's any particular arcs that stand out though.
Same. I'm with you there.
Okay.
So next one listed is fucking FMA, baby. Full Metal Alchemist.
Dude.
The original or Brotherhood?
Either, both. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Either Both have good stuff. To me, for FMA, I don't have like a favorite arc. To me, like my recommendation is like just watch all of it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
See, that
Watch
was
the
my
whole thing.
problem. I was going to put down Brotherhood, and I was like, I can't think of a particular arc. Just watch all of it.
Watch, yeah, because I think FMA is one of those shonens where like it actually is one story that they
Right.
carry the whole time.
Yeah.
In a really good way. So it is one long good story. So
I mean, there are like
There's-
mini arcs, like 3-episode arcs, I think. So
Like Garlic Jr.
oh god, no, not like Garlic Jr. Like
Like-
when they fight Barry the Butcher, that was like a couple episodes there, and that was a
Oh,
very
that's true.
that was a very powerful arc right there, very emotional. Like at the end when they're sitting on the steps.
Barry the Butcher.
Yeah, Barry the
That
Butcher.
sounds dumb as shit.
You've never seen Full Metal Alchemist?
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, dude, you're missing out on one of the best shonen of all time.
Yeah, well, you've never seen Crest of the Stars.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
You're
I
missing out on
think
one of the
Brotherhood,
best space shows of all time.
I mean, I'll see it eventually.
I think
just not
Brotherhood
now.
only had like maybe one filler episode, right?
yeah, it's pretty
So
much
it didn't-
a straight story.
That's
the whole
impressive.
time.
Yeah, because I like a lot of the other shonen, they have like a story arc and they break it up with a few filler episodes, another story arc. So it was a lot harder for me to think of an arc in Brotherhood.
Dude, okay, the Barry the Butcher arc, which was insanely
Mm-hmm.
emotional. We know when they're sitting on the steps afterwards and like they're crying about how they almost died. The Nina arc,
Of
Kind of
course,
name
yeah.
it.
That's the must see arc because then you
Dude.
understand the meme.
dude. Well, no, not just because you need to understand a meme, because it's insanely emotional.
you have to watch that arc because you have to understand the memes.
Okay, sure, I guess. But also it talks about like speaking of what we talked about earlier today about Takahata, it talks about what somebody the lengths that someone will go to for excellence and what they're willing to give up.
Including killing your employees.
And in this sense, well, I don't want to spoil it for you now because you've never seen it.
I probably
But
won't.
doing
I will
terrible things that you
I will
should-
probably never watch it.
Yeah. Well,
It's too damn long.
yeah, including killing your own daughter and your wife. And
Hey,
your,
yeah.
and your dog.
There it is.
Awful character.
Isn't that where he's doing experiments on them?
Yeah.
All right. See, I have seen some things. Okay.
It was that desire for excellence.
Well,
It's crazy, man.
it is. It make you do crazy things.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are several in Full Metal Alchemist. That is such an amazing show.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Ooh.
Oh, the Dark Tournament.
Dark
easy.
Tournament.
Tournament.
for me.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Dark Tournament.
Yeah, easy.
I
Dark
was actually-
Tournament. Go watch it. We don't have to say anything about that, but every single fight, dope as fuck. Characters, dope as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
The colors, animation, everything's great. Go watch the Dark Tournament.
I love when Hiei busts out the dragon and the darkness flame, and everyone's
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
shocked by it, and he just
On
completely
Bui.
erases that guy from the face
Oh
of
my
the
God,
world.
yes.
Yes, that's one of my favorite episodes of all time in anime history because the colors just go off the fucking rails and like character models. Who cares? It's just all
Who cares?
fucking wild. So yeah, it's crazy.
That's aw- yeah. That arc was amazing. I still think my favorite moment though in all of Yu Yu Hakusho is the very first episode
Oh yeah.
because that gets you
Dude,
usually
great
dies.
first episode,
that
man.
gets you hooked in, dude, and it's so emotional and you don't realize it. But then, dude, I tear up every time I watch it. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
because like it's the first episode. It's not really a spoiler, but when Yusuke he dies in the first episode, and they're at his like wake at his mom's house, and Yusuke kind of is all like, nobody cares about me. He's just some like rebellious kid because he's like, I think his dad's gone and his mom's a drunk and like he just doesn't care, and he dies sacrificing himself, doing something very noble, and they're having the wake at his house and he's seeing it as a ghost, and like everyone's like just like his mom is crying and unconsolable, and then his rival, what's his name?
Kuwabara.
Kuwabara.
Kuwabara, not his rival for long.
Yeah, he's like his big rival. Like they've always fought each other, like growing up and stuff. He shows up, and he is like pissed, and he's like charging in there, and he's like, "Where is he? Where is he?
How you can't leave me?
Yeah,
Don't you
like-
die on me?
Yeah," and he's like freaking out because he's like, "Oh, you can't die on me," and blah blah blah. Don't be a coward. Come back
Come
here.
on, you're a Meshi.
Yeah, and that was insane. And then he breaks down, and you're like, "Oh my god, Kuwabara."
You're a Meshi. You're never here for me.
That episode is incredible.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
I also like the training section of the Dark Tournament where he's in the cave with Genkai.
Oh yeah.
And she's like
Yes.
tormenting him.
Genkai's the best, dude.
I love the fight with Taguro and how like just
Yes.
seemingly unstoppable Taguro is. I love all the villains on the other side of the tournament, like all the bad guys.
Yeah.
There's the guy who like fights with the wind, and the I can't remember all their names, but they all have like this very unique personality. It is just a tournament, but it's very colorful and fun.
Yes.
So
There's some epic moments in
Yeah.
action. Sweet. So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is amazing. Oh, you got next up on here.
Ippo.
Hajime no Ippo.
So I,
Hajime no Ippo.
so I bought these swim P3s for my swimming. Right, they're these
Swim P3s. Okay.
they're these like things you clip onto your goggles, and they're bone condensing MP3s. So they don't go in your ears. They vibrate on your face, and you can hear the music through your face.
Oh, does it work?
What the heck?
It does work, especially when you're underwater.
Now, does everybody
it
else
feel?
underwater hear it?
No.
That'd be funny.
So and I was listening to Eternal Loop the other day while I was swimming.
Oh yeah.
And Eternal Loop is that like we mentioned it like 100 times. It's that like 8-minute rock ballad that just goes and goes.
Yeah.
And they play it during the scene of during the Sendo fight in Ippo, where Ippo is picking himself up from basically the brink of unconsciousness, and kind of rises from the ashes, finds his strength, finds what it means to be strong, and gets up and keeps fighting. And I always have this rule when I'm working out. Anytime Eternal Loop is playing, I'm not allowed to quit, no matter what I'm doing. And I doubled my longest consecutive swim without a break. I'm not an experienced swimmer, but my previous record was around 200 meters without stopping, and I did 400 meters while Eternal Loop was playing without stopping to rest. And because I couldn't stop, I was either going to drown in that pool that day or finish the damn song. And I finished the damn song.
Nice.
And it's because Ippo wouldn't quit.
That's right.
Ippo wouldn't
would
quit.
not quit.
So if he can't quit, well, I can't quit.
That's right.
And that's the reason.
That's the power of shonen.
That's what I'm talking about. So the Sendo fight with Ippo is at the end of the series is
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that fight is why I couldn't enjoy Megalobox.
Each character gets kind of their own epic like arc and scene and all of that. Like, oh man, I'm so bad with names. Takamura, like when he's fighting for the world title.
Oh, it's epic.
Yes, that's my favorite arc in
against
Evo.
that
Not
super
gonna
generic
lie.
American guy.
Brian Hawk.
I guess Brian Hawk. Yeah, that guy.
But that fight is so because like Takamura has basically just sailed through like local belts and stuff just based off of his own natural talent. Like he's never really had to, try, exceptionally. I mean, he tries like making weight and stuff, but like he's just so talented naturally that he's never really had to dig deep.
And he uppercuts Brian Hawk out of the ring.
Yeah, and in this fight, you see that like he's got to lay it all out on the line because he's going for that world title.
And he does.
Yeah, and that was an amazing fight. Or when Miyata, when he's fighting, what's his name? Makashiba, is that his name? With the
with the
With the guy that swings his elbow,
the arm thing that he does.
Yeah. So when he was fighting him, and poor Miyata, like I feel like he can never catch a break. He never wins. Like,
no, he doesn't.
Or he wins, but like he can't. He just can't. He's and what I like about him.
Be Ippo, man.
Yeah, what I like about what they do with him though is that it's because he doesn't have power. Like he's not powerful. So because of that, he has to train so hard on his technique and his skill, and he gets really far because of it. But ultimately,
he's like Rock Lee.
Well,
the genius of effort.
Yeah, he has no ninjutsu, so he has to use taijutsu.
I guess that's true. Yeah, so he just has to rely on his technique, and he gets really far. But that fight against Makashiba is insane.
Yeah, I like Miyata's style more than anyone else's. I like the counterattack style.
Yeah,
the finesse boxing. That's good shit.
All right, I know this next one is exciting for all of you,
especially humans.
Well, I have seen a season of Haikyuu, okay? And it's like I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
So leave me alone.
What is the best arc in Haikyuu, guys? The must-see arc in Haikyuu.
Man.
That's a hard question because here's the thing. They're all great. They're all great arcs, right?
Yes.
Every arc is good.
I can't think of a bad one. Yeah. I mean, for me, that final season, it was incredible. Like, I gave like the first couple seasons, I gave him like an 8 or maybe even a 9 on my anime list. I gave the final season a 10. Like that was a perfect season of anime. It was so damn good.
Is Haikyuu done now?
No, it's not going to be done.
No.
I think there's a movie in the works.
Haikyuu will never die.
Yeah, there's a movie in the works that I know of, and I'm sure they're going to come out with more. It's just so popular, they can't not. But yeah, that final season, that final game was so insane. Oh my gosh.
Is that Shrimpy kid ever going to get taller?
No.
Who's
to be
to
short
say?
his whole life.
I agree that arc is probably the best arc because if you had been watching the show up until then, like I remember just when they finished the game, I just jumped the fuck out of my chair from how happy I was because I was so excited for them.
Yeah.
And like that is, not many anime make you literally just I was like legitimately cheering. Like
Was that
so
the
invested.
Was that the arc that Suki turned around to and started enjoying the game? Okay.
Yes. Oh, that moment.
Yes. And Suki is a big part of the reason why this arc is so good because he's the one character where like you kind of like him, but he's not really like reciprocating that like you like him because he's like that guy, but he's not giving us a lot. And then all of a sudden he's just like, oh no, like
yeah,
I'm here.
he's basically
like,
a tsundere character, and he doesn't care, and he's like whatever, none of this matters. It's like I don't know why you guys are so, freaking out about all this. It's just a game. It really doesn't matter. And then in that one, like towards the end of that game, he's trying to block this one guy and he just can't block him. And then he finally figures it out and he blocks him and he freaks out and he's like, yes. And you're like,
when he has that, when he just like hunkers down on the screen.
Yeah. I get chills right now just thinking about it.
So amazing.
Was it the inner high arc where Oikawa had that jump serve where it like changed the animation for it?
Oh yes, dude.
I love that part.
That was it went all like stringy, almost like I don't know, ping pong the animation or something. Like it was pretty cool.
Oh, ping pong the animation is some good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a cool shot.
But I love that moment where it just hits the court and everyone is silent.
And it's
the
just
whole
silent,
auditorium
and everything
is
like
silent.
goes white, and they're like, "What?" I didn't even.
Yeah.
That was amazing. There's some awesome scenes in that show as well.
Just watch all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Absolutely.
Season 3 is getting to season 3 is so worth it because season 3 just makes life good.
And it's not
makes
like
your life good.
and it's not like the first 2 seasons aren't good. They're great. It's just season 3 like blows it out of the water.
What are they going to be doing in season 4?
I think they're going.
They go to nationals, right?
Yeah, they're going. Well, no, like didn't some of them like a couple of them went to train with like the national team or something like that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I mean,
so if they go into that, then we will see some characters at training with the youth national team, but the team qualified for nationals too, right? To go to nationals.
I think so.
Because
that's what the point of winning was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo Mushipeddo has 4 seasons now. So Haikyuu needs to have 4 seasons, and we all know that Haikyuu will never be Yo Mushipeddo.
Oh my god!
But it has to at least match it in seasons.
Not even close.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It will never be Yo Mushipeddo. Thank God.
Let's hope not.
Mitz, what's the next one? Because I know you have a lot to say with
Initial
this one.
D.
Oh wait, no, Mandy wrote the Kyoto arc.
No, Initial D is next.
All right.
Initial D.
Initial D is next. What am I looking at?
I don't know.
Oh, I see. I scrolled
What are you
down too
looking
far. Oops.
All in good time.
Initial D is a tough one though.
The beginning of Initial D
The
is my
beginning
favorite.
of Initial D is great. Everything else is pretty terrible.
That's not true. Initial D's 4th stage is really good. The 4th stage is the best season.
Okay.
Have you seen the 4th stage?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Where they're
It's been
fighting.
years,
They
dude.
fight Hawk, and they're taking on like that specific organization that has. That's the
Okay.
season. That's
Yeah,
the
where they
season
kind of
where
go
one
pro a little bit, and they've got like their
Yeah.
own like
That-
van and stuff.
That's the season where one of the Takahashi brothers is racing this other dude, and they drift around this cone at the halfway point, and
Yeah.
they manage to pass at the turn and go.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the beginning's my favorite. There's 3 things that happen in the beginning of Initial D that make it awesome, and this is the part of Initial D where Takumi is sort of rising to fame. He's just racing people on the mountain randomly and winning and becoming notorious.
Yeah.
There's the duct tape match.
Well, at first he's not even racing people. He's just driving home.
Well, yeah,
They're
he's driving
racing
home and they can't beat him, even though he's just not even racing them. That's like when I'm in the pool and there's like these guys swimming and I'm slower than them, and I'm in my head I'm racing them and they don't
But
even care.
they don't even know you exist.
and I still can't beat them.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly.
And it's like some old person too that's just so used to swimming, and you're like,
No, it's some guy who looks like friggin' Michael Phelps. His back's like 12 feet wide.
oh, I don't know. Maybe that's just me then, racing these old people.
So the duct tape match is awesome, where they have to drift down the mountain while they have a hand duct taped to the wheel,
Yes.
which is suicidal
Right.
for sure. Then there's the scene where where Takumi's dipping his tire into the gutter,
Yes.
so he can hug
I love
the
that scene.
And then the
in
other
order
guy
to drift past the guy, he like dips his tire into the gutter and then just like uses it to slide his car around.
And then the other guy tries it and he can't do it, and he literally flips his car into a barrel roll in midair and crashes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then there's the scene where they're racing and Takumi can't pass the guy. He's following.
So he turns off his lights.
He turns off his headlights, so the guy thinks he's gone, and then he passes him on the side in pure darkness.
So sick.
And then he turns his lights on, and you're like, oh shit, he passed him. And then he's just
man.
gone. Like, you can't stop him. So there's some pretty amazing shit
Initial
in Initial
D,
D.
like the first season was so hype.
And the Initial D manga is good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
That's my childhood. I grew up on Initial D. I love it.
Yeah. I think I still have the first season on DVD.
It looks like crap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then, and the music though, that Eurobeat
And the dub is
music,
pretty terrible too. I'm not.
yeah. Okay.
Eurobeat.
All right. Let's. I'm gonna let Mandy take this next one.
Me? I'm not the only one who's seen Rurouni Kenshin.
No, I'm gonna chime in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put down the Kyoto arc of Rurouni Kenshin because I'm struggling with shonen. Shonen's not my like go-to genre, but what I liked about that arc was that it was just it was a little bit more darker, more political, and introduced Saito, which I thought I really liked Saito as a character, and I liked the battle between Kenshin and Shishio.
Oh.
Of course.
That fight was really good.
Shishio he lights his sword. He drags his sword to create sparks, and it lights it on fire because it has so much human fat soaked into the
Which
blade.
doesn't make any sense.
It's so bad. It's
But
epic though.
Whatever.
It's epic though.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to remember because it's been a while, when Kenshin finally got that like final blow, it like wasn't there like this big wind dragon that like slashes him?
It is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenshin is the shit. I also like in that same arc, the Kyoto arc, where Sanosuke is fighting the monk, and they're using the Futai no Kiyoami.
Oh, the
which is like
the double punch.
For people who don't know what that is, it's like where you hit twice with your knuckles.
It's so dumb. That's so unrealistic.
The first, yeah, it is. The first hit removes all of the object's natural resistance, and then the second hit it just obliterates the object because it's. And like there's scenes where like the monk will get a hit on like Sanosuke's like torso, which should like just obliterate his organs and everything and kill him.
Right.
But he'll do this. But he hits himself.
Punches the other side of his own body.
He hits himself on the other side of his body to counteract the. It's a badass fight. It's so awesome. But
so
it's cool.
dumb, but I love it.
But the show's always about Kenshin. It's nice to see Sanosuke get like a brawler moment.
Yeah.
You know, where he's actually in there brawling because he was never good with that big sword. Let's be honest.
No,
let's be real. He never was. I think Sanosuke has one of the coolest aesthetic like looks in all of anime too. I think he looks badass as fuck from the get go.
I believe his shirt says like bad on the back or
does it?
Be a badass or something.
Nice.
Also, the Saito Kenshin fight is good.
Saito.
It's a little short.
Mm-hmm.
But like Kenshin, Saito's always able to drag out Kenshin's like Batosai because they fought back in the back in the war. So that's a cool fight. And they have a lot of purples in that
when
fight
they're fighting
scene.
in that room and he uses his belt.
Yes.
Grab the sword, yeah.
So
that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Rurouni Kenshin is good. Everything after the Kyoto arc is horrible.
I don't think I've seen beyond
it's
that.
It's not that good.
Don't
was
watch
that like episodes 30 through 60? Is that what it was?
The Kyoto
arc? 30
arc?
episodes? Yeah.
Yeah, that feels right.
Oh, Icy Rose says that the back of his shirt says evil.
Does it?
Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
I don't remember
pretty
that,
badass.
but I believe it.
I feel like it says bad also.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look, Icy Rose says it says evil. All right.
I almost never disagree with Ice Heroes. So I feel like it's not.
Maybe it was the translation. Maybe
I just watched shitty subs in the past.
Yeah.
Mitsuki is pulling it up right now.
Why don't you guys talk about the next one while I look it up?
All right. Next up on the list is Attack on Titan, which is a shonen, right? It's about young kids.
It is a shonen, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even though it's I think a little more adult because of all the gore and violence and everything. I think there are several moments in Attack on Titan. Like, I mean, for me, honestly, the first season is the best. Second season was kind of fell off. A lot of people have issues with the first season because it said it dragged out too much. I didn't find it to drag out, but maybe because I just binged it all in like a day.
Yes, that's why. Because to me, it did definitely like objectively drag on for no reason.
But there are several moments in the first season that are amazing. I mean, you have the very first episode when they set up this whole like, oh, we're living in peace inside this wall, and then kaboom,
yeah,
the walls come down.
The back of his shirt says evil.
It says evil. Okay, so that was an insane moment because that just kind of, and then when the mother dies at the very first episode, the show several times lets you know nobody is safe. I don't care how much you like a character, this is like and that adds to kind of the realism of it. It's like anybody can die at any moment. It doesn't matter if they're popular.
And then they couldn't.
And then they couldn't.
And that's your Aaron.
Yeah. Although, dude, when Aaron quote unquote died, like when he got,
I was shocked.
I was like
genuinely shocked.
I was like, he's the main character. They can't, like when I think his leg got bit off first, and you're like, oh damn, like this is like, are they just gonna have a guy with no leg for the rest
Don't worry,
of the show?
it's gonna grow back.
And then, well, it does. But like in that moment, you didn't know any of this. You're just like, I guess he's dead. Is this show now gonna be about Mikasa? But then he comes back as a Titan, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Like that was pretty mind blowing. So
that was back when the world liked Attack on Titan.
Yeah, and then everybody became a Titan.
Everybody.
Yeah,
they're all Titans.
So, but I think for me that moment when Aaron died, quote unquote died, and then came back was like pretty nuts and mind blowing. So that was cool.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And then when they moved the border for 5 episodes, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's the best
it was
arc.
literally like
really 5 episodes.
No, it was like it was actually
the Boulder arc is the best.
It was like
arc
an episode and a half, if I remember correctly.
And then when they chased each other in that grassy field for 10 episodes.
That was also like another
the Boulder
episode.
Arc. Oh my god, that's great.
I'm calling it the Boulder arc because that shit was a waste of life.
So the Boulder arc is really the best arc in Attack on Titan.
Boulder arc. I prefer the chase.
Was
arc.
it a solid arc?
It was.
It was
You know,
solid as a
rock
rock.
solid?
Baby. Solid as a rock.
It was well rounded.
It was.
You guys gotta step your game up over here with these crappy puns.
This next one on the list is not actually shonen, but I love it. So
it started in Shonen Jump.
Isn't JoJo a seinen anime?
Yeah, I mean, is it?
It started in Shonen Jump.
Hey, I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know everything. But please indulge us with your tales of battle tendency, which is my favorite. My favorite arc too.
I put down battle tendency just because I love Joseph. I think Joseph was my favorite JoJo because he's so, I don't know, like he's really funny, but he's also like street smart. Where like Jonathan was not street smart at all.
No, not at all.
So I will say
he got shit on a lot.
You're both right. It started in Shonen Jump, then it moved to Seinen Jump.
Seinen Jump? What the hell is that?
I don't know. Or I'm sorry, transferred to the monthly Seinen magazine Ultra Jump, not Seinen Jump.
Joseph is my favorite as well because he's so he's very like reckless, but he's also ridiculously smart.
I'm gonna be super controversial here.
You will say that you like Josuke.
No, I like the first guy. What's the first guy's
name?
Jonathan.
I love Jonathan.
I
knew you would say that.
Yeah, Jonathan was just like a good dude, and he wasn't a dick like the rest of the JoJos.
You will say I like I like Jonathan the best.
Or not Josuke, Jotaro. Sorry, Jotaro.
Yeah,
Jotaro's the favorite in Japan.
Like Jonathan was just a wholesome family man. All right, that's it. I like him.
But yeah, Joseph was great because he would always like. It seems like they would always like get him down, but then he's like, "No, I planned the enemy's demise this entire time."
That's amazing.
Mandy, there's so
like
many.
That one time where he made it look like they cut off his arm or his hand, and he's like, "Just kidding, it's a magic trick."
I like the dude.
Joseph.
I like the dude with the hat. What's his name?
The only unfortunate thing about battle tendency is the Nazis. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. But Joseph's great.
You have to appreciate the drops that were provided.
Who's the dude with the tall hat with like the
Speedwagon
checkerboard? Yes, him. Speedwagon. I like him.
I mean, there's so many good moments. I love the moment where they're training and they're trying to climb up the waterfall that has like oil all over it. I love the scene where the Pillar Man dives into the bloody stump of the one Nazi guy's leg, to avoid the sunlight. I love the final fight with the volcano that erupts. I love the moment where certain characters die and Joseph goes like ape shit and he's crying. Like, God, there's like a million good scenes in Battle Tendency. I mean, I actually don't understand why people like Stardust Crusaders so much because Battle Tendency's story is just so much better than Stardust Crusaders.
And that's where JoJo like completely changed because Battle Tendency was the last time we saw like the Haman and then it changed to stands and then that's where like JoJo went from.
You're right. I like the Hamon better.
I never got past the Pillarman. Like
those butt cheeks. I
was like, I'm done with the show.
I like the Pillarman.
Do you want to smack their butt cheeks?
No, absolutely.
I do.
Well, that's hey, we all are into different things.
I'd give it a slap or two.
Don't knock it until you've tried it. Hey. You haven't even tried it.
You're right. I have not tried slapping other man's butt cheeks.
We can do that on
No,
camera right
that's
now.
all right. I'm
You want me to
good.
pull my pants down?
I'm all set. Thanks, though.
Oh, come on.
Appreciate you.
Oh, come on. I was so excited. Feel these nipples.
So the next show,
the last one?
who put this one on the list?
The
It's
lovely,
definitely-
Oh, I
the
did.
lovely Mandy.
Yeah.
I did because I'm struggling.
Because this is a good show.
She's like, what shows do I know with
Yeah.
boys? All the shows she knows with boys are like yaoi.
what?
What?
How dare
What are
you?
you talking about?
I'm joking.
How
What-
dare you?
Yaoi have I watched?
I don't know. I'm just joking.
I can only name one yaoi anime.
I don't know any. You can't think of it?
Gravitation.
Oh,
Is that showed Shonen Anime maybe?
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Fuck it.
Oh well.
But I mean, I put down Noragami and Yato's past because I really liked how before that Yato was always like this really goofy character, and then like in his past you see he's like a really brutal like god of death. So I don't know. I really like that whole past arc, and I've know more about it past that because of the manga goes past it. So I am kind of cheating, but yeah, I really like that, and I like finding out like where he came from with his father, and I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think I remember watching all that too, and I do remember it being driven pretty well. So I agree. That's probably one of the better arcs of Origami.
Yeah, but I mean, I put that on the list because like I know it's not Shonen Jump, but it was in like Kodansha's Shonen magazine, so that's why I put it down.
I think it's definitely Shonen. So you good?
Yeah. No, I would say
You're
so.
good.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any
I
other ones?
also like on my own list, I had a Kuroko moment.
Oh, Kuroko. Okay,
Which
yeah.
was-
Go ahead.
Oh, Kuroko no Basuke. Okay.
Yeah, I put down Aomine's backstory arc because I loved Aomine because he was such like an asshole when you first meet him, and then you learn like in the past he was like really sweet, like funny guy, like really good friend, and then it was just that like where like his skill really like destroyed the game for him, where he's like, I am better than everybody else, and I don't like enjoy this anymore.
Yeah, it's
And I
like
thought it was
me and
interesting.
Overwatch. I am so good at Overwatch that I don't enjoy it anymore. You know?
But you
We
still play
need-
it every day, all day.
What rank are you now?
Oh no, I D-ranked so much, dude.
D ranked.
Oh no, you're not diamond anymore.
I'm not diamond anymore. I'm like high plat. I need to win a couple more games to get back in diamond. It was been bad times, guys. Bad
or
times.
you could not.
When that happens, do you
I must.
scream? Do you
I
scream and
must.
yell like, "Does the world know it?"
Oh yeah, Icy Rose mentioned
Fine.
Noragami film Kenshin. I agree, it does
Like
with the way
mine.
the story's set up.
You know, guys, I feel like we're missing the best shonen anime of all time. Really.
What's that?
Well-
Yomushi pedal.
I'll tell you, there's a specific moment in this anime that really touches me,
Okay.
and
In a
It's-
private place.
yes, all over my body,
Whoa, your hands are everywhere.
Wow.
They're
into my soul, into my spirit. It
Wow.
reaches into my
How
spirit,
deep?
and it
How
hugs
deep?
my soul.
How deep in
deeper
you, friend?
and
How
deeper.
deep?
And that is the moment in Black Clover where the main character screams. Incredible. So emotional.
You can feel it.
Oh, the
deep in your
screaming
sphincter.
arc. The
Yeah,
screaming arc.
The screaming arc. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Deep in your sphincter, it tightens every time.
That one moment where he screams, where he finally screams. Man, I'll tell you what. Insane.
You're goofy.
Anyway, that's all
Get us outta
the arcs that we had listed. Are you guys ready to close the main topic for now?
Let's do it.
All right, so that will be all for our main topic of this episode. We're gonna head out to another news break. When you come back, we'll do our review of Darling in the Franxx. But before
Oh,
that,
boy.
we have another weekly trivia question for you to answer. And the question is, they set out to join a large fleet with the mission of defending the strategically important Laptic Gate from a force 15 times larger than their own. And to bring even more worries, their new fleet commander is from the Bebos family, a family notorious for their spectacular insanity. What's an anime?
And we're back with Darling in the Franxx.
Yay.
So don't go anywhere. You're not gonna want to miss that. We'll be back in a minute.
Bye.
Hey, all you anime junkies out there, it's Mitsugi, and yes, of course, you guessed it, it's time for another anime news break. Well, Free is a pretty popular anime series, as we all know, and there was a new season that just came out, Free Eternal Summer. Well, in this season, Rin Matsuoka goes to Australia. He first went to the country prior to the events of the first season, and he returns with the rest of the cast in the new season of Free for the high school swimming finals. There is a hotel called the Russell Hotel at the Rocks, which is located in Sydney, and it appears in the show. Well, it looks like there was some filming done at the actual hotel before the anime was made so that they could model and take stock of the rooms and how the inside of the hotel room looked. Well, and it looks like this has done some pretty amazing things for this hotel. They are actually stunned and caught off guard by the number of people that have made a pilgrimage to Australia merely to stay in this hotel and hopefully do some other things as well. The hotel room has that room booked out over a year in advance, which makes it a huge success for the hotel. And the person running the hotel said that he regrets charging the Japanese film crew $500 Australian to film inside the room for use in the show because he simply did not know about the scope of the show's popularity, and otherwise he would have charged them nothing to have it done. So it looks like Free Eternal Summer is boosting the economy of some local stores and hotels in the Australian area. Next up, we have some highlights from Comiket 94. Definitely some interesting stuff here. We have corporate booths from Psy Games. We have lots of displays showing race cars with art on the sides of them from various anime properties. Nitro Plus opened up a cafe inside of Comiket. Definitely lots of properties for a UFO table being displayed. There's Nekopada all over the place, and also famous cosplay as well. Some viral cosplay, in fact. Rika Zoll attracted attention with her Cells at Work cosplay. Looks like she's a platelet, maybe. Professional cosplayer Einako brought out her fairy dance Asuna cosplay and was encircled by what looks like thousands of people, all photographing her simultaneously. Viral YouTuber who exploded last year in popularity, whose name is Liu, very cute, did a Kizuna Ai cosplay, which was turning heads. And of course, as you might expect, the Japanese theater anti-piracy ad creations, which are basically people with cameras on their heads, also were in full attendance, bringing some extra color to the Comiket event. So if you're interested in Comiket, maybe you want to go someday, you might want to check out online photos just to see what the event is all about. Next up, we have some Ghibli news. Former Ghibli producer Yoshiaki Nishimura reported on Sunday that there was going to be a plan for the late Studio Ghibli director Isao Takahata to direct some of the shorts in the new Modest Heroes anthology film series. It looks like Modest Heroes is made up of 3 shorts. Nishimura said that there were actually 4 shorts, and there were discussions on director Takahata making one of them. But it looks like the people that were involved in creating the other shorts were actually disciples of Takahata, so his influence is going to be felt there one way or the other. So if you're a big fan of Studio Ghibli and you want to see these admittedly very gorgeous-looking anime shorts, you might want to check them out online from Studio Ponok. Next up, Gintama is going to be ending its manga in 5 chapters. The 38th issue of Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine revealed this. Hideaki Sorachi's Gintama manga will end in 5 more chapters and will end on September 24th, which is a huge deal in the anime world as Gintama is such a long-running and popular anime franchise. The manga has sold more than 55 million copies in Japan, and Viz Media published the first 22nd volumes in English. So if you're a fan of Gintama, you'll be at least able to read a lot of it in English. Shueisha published the manga's 74th volume on August 3rd. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, of course, it's time to get back to the podcast.
Hey, Kazuo, can I use your laptop?
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what? What did you see? I can explain.
Huh?
I mean, nothing. Wait, what were you looking at?
Tea.
Just tea?
Not just any tea. It's Sakura tea on JList.com.
Oh boy. Wait, why are you freaking out over tea?
What else in life does one freak out over?
Where do I start? This is actually pretty cool. The flower blooms in your cup with hot water.
Isn't it? I knew JList.com had all kinds of fun snacks, but I didn't know they had tea.
So, you gonna buy it?
You bet your sweet tea bag I am. But only after I look at the other cool teas and snacks on JList.com and their non-adult mirror site, jbox.com.
And we're back to episode 435 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. We have been joined in the studio by a cat.
Some may call him a cat.
Some may call him a cat. I call him a Cornelius.
Some call him a cat god.
And before we left for the news break, we had an intro trivia question. Who wants to read that again?
Yeah, so our intro trivia question before the break was, they set out to join a large fleet with the mission of defending the strategically important Lepta Gate from a force 15 times larger than their own. And to bring even more worries, their new fleet commander is from the Bobos family, a family notorious for their spectacular insanity. And that anime was Banner of the Stars.
Banner of the friggin' Stars.
Never heard of it.
You might hear
Liar.
because my cat just jumped up on my mic.
Is that a show about like ribbon dancing and then they have like a banner, like a ribbon with stars on it? Is that what that is? Olympic ribbon dancing?
Terrible.
No?
That was rough.
That was
Wow.
Sorry.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that very quickly.
It's time for iTunes review.
Bienvenido.
Bienvenido. Of course, you can always leave us a review on iTunes. We greatly appreciate it. It helps move us up in the rankings and helps us maintain our firm grasp around the neck of the anime podcast world.
Yeah, right.
Just holding it down into submission. Be like,
Before you make sweet love to it?
Yes, right. Whisper sweet nothings into their ear.
Yeah.
Yes. Gently caress.
Caress the curves of the buttocks.
Yes. What? Okay. All right. So head over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, just like a Myrtle Turtle did. Now, I did not pronounce that wrong. It is Immyrtle Turtle.
Immyrtle Turtle.
Not Immortal Turtle.
Myrtle Turtle.
And they said, great stuff. After finding this podcast from another podcast, I decided to give them a listen. Mitsugi is terrible. No, I'm kidding. He says Mitsugi is great and hates everything. JK. But they do go into detail about anime they are reviewing and why you must or must not watch it. They'll let you know if spoilers are coming, so you can quickly jump out of the bus and not have shows ruined. Give them a listen and judge Kazuo for yourself. What does that mean? Good stuff. Keep it up. What does that mean? Judge me for myself.
Judge the boy for your damn selves, guys.
You know what, Turtle? We're going to have to talk.
He is on the Discord, I believe.
Mitz, are you done playing with your pussy?
What?
Mitz is sitting here playing with
the cat mascot.
Playing with his cat.
Oh my!
So
you have to
gigantic.
understand, we don't see you guys, so this is
My
to
cat
me, that was
It's
wild.
on my lap and is currently drooling on me. So,
My
Nice.
cat does that too.
yep. But thank you, Turtle. And I'm sorry if I have spoiled you because I probably have, and I'm so sorry.
Okay, the moment has come.
The
Darling
moment
and the Franxx.
is upon us.
Yeah, Darling and the Franxx.
This thing.
So this is a listener choice anime from what? Winter?
I don't
I'll look it up.
I think so, yeah. I think it started winter.
Yeah, I guess
Eons
it's
ago.
26 episodes, so it ran for half a year, and it's
We
not.
sound so defeated.
It's not airing this season because this is the summer, so it had to have started in the winter. Darling and the
Yeah.
Franxx is a trigger.
It is a
trigger
it's,
joint?
it's absolutely a trigger anime.
Trigger
If you
joint?
couldn't tell by all of the trigger crosses all over the place.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a trigger anime.
What is with them and their damned X's and crosses?
it's their thing, man. They just want everybody to know that it's their show. Although you might be confused because there's also pieces of other studios like in this show, like as far as the art design and everything.
Well,
and some of the story even.
Yeah,
can be taken from other shows. So let's see. What's the
I
best?
don't even know where to begin with this.
So Darling in the Franxx is a show that takes place far into the future on Earth. Humans have found the secret to immortality. However, in doing so, they can no longer procreate because there's just too many humans on the planet. Around this time, up from the Earth,
from the depths,
30
stories high,
come these creatures known as Klaxosaurs,
breathing fire,
and they are just all different shapes and sizes,
Godzilla.
Just hodgepodge, like really, I would say lazily drawn, just blobs of a creature.
They kind of remind me of the noise from Symphogear. Do they remind you of that?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Another
right.
anime
they're just shitty Zoids.
Another anime they ripped off.
And so they come up from the depths and start just wrecking shop and destroying all the human cities. And so the humans kind of move on to these like moving bases, and they start developing these kind of mechs. They're like super robots, really.
Is this Blue Gender?
Yeah.
We find out the blue are actually the Earth's self-defense system against humans.
And so, yeah, right. And so they develop these like kind of bioorganic mechs that the children have to pilot because only a child can pilot it.
And only a child has a penis.
Right. That's where it gets a little weird. So you have these humans trying to survive.
That's in the show.
Wait. Give more of the world summary before we get into that.
Okay. What more do you want me to say? Do you have something in particular?
Actually, that's you're right. I think you covered pretty much all the premise.
The humans are trying to survive against these monsters.
Wasn't most of that like a spoiler though? Because I didn't think they revealed any of that at the beginning. I thought at the beginning it was just like there are Klaxosaurs, they're fighting humans. Humans are like in a base.
That is what happened. What is that?
I think that's my phone. I'll turn it down. But they kind of express that, like it's you pick it up. Look, I'm not spoiling anything. There's nothing to spoil. All right, it's just boys and girls fighting monsters.
Yeah, I mean, so like when I was watching this, and I binged the whole damn thing in like one day. God help me.
Damn.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I was on episode like 14, and I was wondering like when is the story going to come in? Because all they did for the first half of the show, virtually half of the first half of the show, was just monsters appear and we fight the monsters. It was a lot like Evangelion in that, you got these kids, they're piloting these giant Avas, and the angels are coming every episode. There's another angel, and then they have to fight it. And now that's kind of how
basically how it started.
That's how Darling in the Franxx sort of plays
now
out.
The kicker on this one, instead of having instead of having the young child pilot the mech, this bioorganic mech, you have to have two children do it.
That's right.
Because reasons.
Pistol and Stamen.
Yes. Oh. Yes. They call them the pistol and the stamen, which for those that are unfamiliar with biology, or I guess botany.
Those are the sexual reproductive organs of plants.
Yes. The pistil and the stamen. And so the boy and the girl are the pistil and the stamen, and they go into the mech in a very peculiar position.
And they say,
it's doggy style.
It's doggy style. And they make comments.
They're doggy style, boys.
Yeah, the girl is bent over, and they always seem to arch their back really well, I've noticed. It must just be the way the seat is set up.
They're really getting into it.
And then the boy has to grip both sides of her, there are handles on both sides of her buttocks.
And they make comments such as, I can feel myself going deeper and deeper inside you.
Yes. Or, I'm sorry I couldn't get it up that time.
And she's going to suck him dry.
Yes. There's much more than that.
Or let's not forget the one that was, oh no, it has to be a boy and a girl.
Oh yeah. They tried to have two girls pilot a mech, but you can't do that.
Well, that doesn't yield a baby.
No, because that would just be two pistols? Stamens?
That would I think it's two stamens.
Yeah.
That does. Oh no, two girls would be two pistols.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
You can't have two pistols. Look, guys, it's biology or botany or whatever.
But yeah. So this is the aspect of the show that immediately kind of just like undercut everything else of the show. So for me, because like I've given some pass to other animes in the past that do some dumb shit, because we all have to kind of like really love anime. You have to give a little bit of a pass to some dumb shit. But This one didn't. I couldn't really do it for myself. I don't know about you guys, but like the second I saw the doggy style like need to pilot this robot and like these children are kids, I was like, these children are kids. I was like, these pilots are kids. I was like, why? Like I was like, why? Because then everything that happens after that I liked, like no matter how much I loved the art and animation, no matter how much I love the colors and the aesthetics of the world, I was just like, yeah, but then you have like pretend like vanilla sex in these fucking robots for them to work.
Pretend vanilla
like,
sex.
So I tweeted out while watching the show early on in the show. I was like, piloting a mech in Darling in the Franxx is such a heavy-handed and blatant sex analogy that it might as well just be sex. Like they're so like it's not like they're hinting at it like some shows will do where it's like, oh, it's kind of sexual, but no, it's just they're just having sex. Like that's exactly what it is. Like you might as well just have them have sex. There's no. So
I think, for me, I think I would have liked it more if it had stuck to that, but it was like very blatantly like aware of what it was, and it became like just a dumb joke because it was when the show started taking itself way too seriously. I started tuning out.
So someone in the chat says that the kids are like 17. That is false because they are just starting to go through puberty. So they are maybe like 12 or 13 or something like that.
I think they probably have the ages somewhere.
Part of the story.
I will effort that.
Part of the story is that they begin going through puberty, and so they're starting to have those feelings, you know, and they have to deal with them.
Their naughty bits are tingling.
Right. So now here's the thing: is despite all that, this show I feel like had potential. I feel like
I agree. I super agree.
What did I text you guys earlier? Something about a cake. Because I feel like that was pretty.
A cake.
I forgot.
I texted. Hold on, let me see. We were talking about the show in our little text thread, and I said they took all the ingredients they needed to bake a perfectly nice cake, but then they mixed up the instructions and ended up with some goop that still kind of tastes good, but it looks like a mess. So that was kind of the way I viewed it. It's like they have all the pieces that they need, and it's like, I'm kind of interested in parts of the overall story, but then they just screwed it all up. It's like, why couldn't you just stick to the script? Like it just.
Yeah. And I think the good pieces that you're referencing in this cake recipe analogy you're using is the artwork, right? The music, right? The world, the way it looked, like it was there, like the even like I'll even say like for the first like 15 episodes or so, it was a lot of slice of life moments, like a lot of slice of life episodes that weren't complete trash. Like they're pretty okay, like pretty good. I think 02, you know, despite being like the most objectified fucking character in a while, like interesting personality that like was able to make other characters fun because the other characters were fucking dead inside. All that could have led to really high stakes payoffs at the end of the show and on the second half of the show. And what ruins it all for me are a couple things that happen in the later half. But ultimately all of the things that they could have set up that they tried to fall flat. And that's why I'm also kind of left kind of like disappointed, because you're right, Kazuo. Like this is a recipe that they had where they had mostly great ideas and great like vision and just did not execute like the way they could have, knowing Trigger and knowing A1.
Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of how I felt midway through the show, like, and after the show a bit too.
Also the theft from other properties is just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously Star Driver is a huge.
Evangelion, huge.
Evangelion for sure.
Eureka 7.
Eureka 7.
Gurren Lagann, massively,
big time.
Massively.
It's pretty much a hodgepodge. It's a gumbo of all the different mecha shit you've seen throughout the years. You know, it's Star Driver, a lot of the mech designs. Star Driver.
Well, I think it was the same. Was it the same person who wrote Star Driver?
A lot of the staff is the same.
A lot of the
staff on these
stuff,
other shows because it's Gainax, you know. So it's Gainax.
Trigger, but it was the guys
staff,
from Gainax that came in.
yeah. So then you have like the a lot of the feel, it comes from, I feel like is reminiscent of Evangelion. You have these monsters attack, it's the children defending, and then there's like this council of old men that's sort of in the wings behind everything, kind of controlling. And then you have, like, I don't even know. I haven't seen Eureka 7.
Yeah.
It's way better than this.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, what is the resemblance between Eureka 7 and this?
I've only seen parts of
I think color palette, art style is and animation style is very, very reminiscent of Eureka 7 to everything to like the way the mechs move is what reminds me of Eureka 7 a bunch.
Yeah. Actually, Godius Maximus in the chat says that the same dude did the mecha design from Star Driver, and that's true. I remember. I want to say it was BCom. It might have been Andrew or somebody. I forget. I'm sorry, but they showed me an image of like one of the mechs from Star Driver and the main mech from Darling and the Franxx, and they're the same. It's the same mech.
They're totally the same.
I'm like, it's the same mech.
And I knew I like this anime a lot better than Star Driver. I hated Star Driver desperately. I hated that. Mostly because it was just such a silly, goofy show.
Right.
And I definitely like Darling and the Franxx better than that anime. But I would say that this was not an easy anime for me because one thing people need to know, we need to classify this. This is a super robot show.
Yes.
And for those of you that like don't like watching Super Robot and you prefer to watch Real Robot, and by that I mean Real Robot would be like Escaflowne, where you can see the gears and shit whizzing inside of it.
Yeah, or like Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Yeah, where like the mech, like Gundams will lay down and they're shooting a rifle.
Or most Gundam, really. It's outside of like a couple that were Super Robot.
Exactly. Whereas whereas Super Robot is just like things happen that make no sense.
Yeah.
The mechas
like Gurren Lagann.
The mechas, like Gurren Lagann, the mechas can transform and fly through space and
are very fluid in their movement.
It's just. It's
like
realistic versus non-realistic.
You're not a fan of Super Robot?
Not at all.
Okay.
That's not my preference ever. It never has been.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. So I think... Okay, go ahead, Mandy.
So yeah, I was going to say that, like, I think the first part, I was like, this is really dumb, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was towards the middle where I was like... Or maybe not the middle. It was even like right towards the end. Things started speeding up so fast. Yes. It was reveal after reveal. And it felt like they wasted so much of the anime doing nothing. Yeah, and then it was like...
Episode 7 was a beach episode. Like, they couldn't even make it... They made it 7 episodes, and they're like, we got to do a beach episode, guys.
And then they were like reveal after reveal. I got so bombarded with information that I got lost for a little while that I had to go to a wiki to look stuff up. I was like, wow. I am so confused. And the pacing was all over the place. Like the episode where they're doing the backstory, they're revealing like where Klaxor's came from and the Klaxor, was it?
Well, this is a spoiler.
Princess? Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Spoilers are coming.
Where they came from, their origin.
Yeah.
By the way, is it bad that I thought the Klaxosar princess was kind of hot?
Well, Steve, oh my God.
You must call me Steve.
Yep,
Steve?
almost did.
But when they did that whole episode, they did like, they kept cutting back and forth between telling you the backstory and then like scenes that didn't need to be shown. There was like pointless scenes of the kids talking about like, so-and-so, they had something happen, and they just kept coming back and telling us that, and I'm like, it might be a spoiler, I don't know, but somebody gets their memory wiped.
Yeah.
And they kept going back and telling us that, and I'm like, I know,
like,
I already know, I saw that.
We remember. Our memory wasn't wiped. We know.
I know. I was like, you don't have to keep telling me that. I know. And I was like, it felt odd, because it kept going back and forth, and I'm like, the pacing's all over the place and I've lost interest.
aside from the pacing and the huge info, like the massive info dump
in the last
massive
in like episode 19, I think that happens.
Yeah.
Or 18.
Totally, yeah, around there. Mm-hmm.
There are some things, and these are all spoilers coming, so just be aware that it's happening.
Can we go into spoilers now? Because we can't really talk about anything else.
We've been in spoilers for a while, I think.
We've been dancing around it, but this is officially spoilers.
So there was some shit. These kids don't even know what sex is. They don't know where babies come from.
Well, it's because humans haven't procreated.
I get it. But like
100 years.
Why they don't know isn't really the point I'm about to make. Mm-hmm. The fact is that they don't know. They don't know anything. They don't know what their penis is for. Yeah. They don't know where babies come from. But they know how to kiss. Like kissing is a societally taught thing. You don't just wake up and go, "Oh, I think this is."
Well, okay. So a couple of things. Sorry, I have to. So they're not just like children in the manner that we think of children. They call them parasites because they are actually like raised in a laboratory and are imprisoned and kind of studied like their whole lives. So they don't know anything about like society.
So you're making my point for me.
However, the kissing thing actually came from 02. She knew about it and then kissed the main character, who then talked to this other girl about it. So they kind of like learned about it that way.
I mean, there's some dumb stuff that happens here. Like, for example, they get married, they have a wedding,
right?
And like, they don't know anything about.
Well, they had the book.
They have a book?
Yeah, 02.
Yeah, she found a book.
Did you miss all this? 02,
Probably.
02 was given a book when she was in captivity. And that was all she ever had was this picture book. And it was about a prince who like married a princess or whatever. And so like, you know, they were like, oh, we should reenact this wedding.
Okay, never mind. I take back everything.
I thought it was Kokoro found a book on like children.
That's a separate. There were
something.
2 books. There's the picture book, which had the prince and the marrying the girl who was like going to devour him or whatever, and they get married.
Yeah.
And then there's a separate book that Kokoro found, which is about human reproduction and childbirth.
I like to devour 02.
Well, that's nice.
Oh, damn.
So that made sense. Like they had these books and they were like, I guess this is what humans are supposed to do when they're in love, you know. Because like even when they talked about marriage, they were like, oh, well, apparently it's something you do when you want to promise to be with somebody forever. And so like, okay. And then, Kokoro got in trouble for finding that book on reproduction because you're not supposed to know about reproduction.
I mean, it's kind of dumb though, because like, okay, six or 7 kids aren't gonna be repopulating the planet.
No.
So like
they don't.
Yeah, they don't. But like, you know, the whole they brain wipe them and everything because they don't want that happening.
Well, that's because it's not just 6. There's hundreds of them. There's a whole farm of them.
I mean, even if there were hundreds of them, they're not gonna. It'll take thousands of years to make any impact on the population with just 100 people having kids.
Right. And
it's like, who gives a fuck?
Well, and also they're not humans. They're not like. They're like created in a lab.
But they do yield a baby.
They do have reproductive organs. Correct.
I'm just saying that like if 100, even if all 100 people had a baby, like
I said 100. I don't know how many there are. If you remember, like when in the moments that they had in the lab, there were just tons of kids everywhere that they were raising and teaching.
I don't know how many there were either, but
yeah. And apparently they live very short lives because they have they age very quickly. So they basically are just there to pilot these mechs.
And this kid right here, this Kazuo kid, paid damn attention to this anime.
I did.
Because to hate on something, you have to know it.
Yeah, so they basically are creating these children in a lab, raising them for the sole purpose of fighting the Klaxosaurs. And then ultimately, the kids are gonna die in battle because they're so outnumbered. So they don't really care. They just kind of throw them at the monsters. And then if the kids do survive, they'll just die in like 20 years or something because they age so quickly.
Well. Yeah, also, because they're aging so quickly, didn't they also, like, when they get to a certain age, weren't they freezing them? Because didn't they find a bunch of frozen kids, too?
I don't remember that.
Popsicles.
See, that's the kind of shit that didn't have to be in the anime. Like, that's point in case. Like, it's just so much shit.
Like, I thought there were a bunch of held in stasis or, like, frozen. Like, shoot.
I don't know. They did
I swear it's there.
Like when the kids kind of flunk out of the course or whatever, like if they're not good enough to be pilots, they'll take them to some area and just drop them off so they can live there however many years they have left on the earth. One thing that did bother me though about the accelerated aging is they seem to age at different rates. So like towards the end, and again we're deep into spoilers at this point, but towards the end, there's one of the girls who was on the team who looks like she's 80, like she's in a hospital bed, she's dying, it's over. And then the others look like they're in their 40s. It's really weird. It's like they're aging at different rates. Maybe that's just they just didn't explain that, but I thought that was weird.
I didn't understand the whole last 4 episodes, like the battle. I don't understand how Hiro became a Klaxosaur. I don't understand how like they ended up in a different universe out of nowhere. I don't understand how he came back
all
from
that
like
was fucking wild.
I don't understand how he came back from the dead, and then the mech like turns into a completely different mech, and then I don't understand how their spirits made it back to Earth. Like none of that shit makes sense to me. I mean, yes, I wasn't even baked this morning, and I watched that. And I still didn't get it.
So he started becoming a Klaxosaur from when he was a very young child, and if you remember, they did the flashback episode when he rescued 02, and she like she skinned her knee,
and they made a promise to always be together.
Well, and then he licked her knee to like because he's like I saw some dogs do this, they lick wounds or something, and he was like I don't know, 5 or something when he did that, so he didn't know any better. So he licks her knee and he ingests her blood. And so I think since that moment is when he started becoming one of her, which she's basically a clone of the Klaxosaur princess.
I guess this anime is just too complicated to watch while you're baked. That was the only way I was getting through this show, by the way.
I honestly,
Kazuo's giving it a 4.5.
no, I understood everything. I mean, look, I'm not saying it was good, but there was no moment where I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, I knew what was going on the whole time. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe
virtually nothing happened until at least episode 16.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah, no, it was very
absolutely zero.
Super slow up until about 16.
So I want to talk off that point, that sentence Miss just said. So it's up to episode 16 where nothing happens. But the reason that I agree with you there is because yes, like you can say that nothing happened, but all of that quote unquote wasted time in the anime
relationship
could have been paid off hard if they chose to do anything with the main cast. Okay, so first half of the show done with.
Tell him.
We move on to the second half. What's up?
I said tell him.
Oh, tell him. Yeah. First half of the show done. Second half of the show. Holy shit, we're just gonna rev the fuck up. We're gonna fight a million things. We're gonna reveal villains that make no sense. A villain, then another villain that has no backstory and no fucking stakes. I didn't give a shit about the fucking 2 purple mask thing. Who the fuck are they? Who cares? Whatever. They're gonna fight. Holy shit, we're going to space, boys.
We're going to space.
Who fucking cares? Off to space. We're gonna go fight in space. And then in space, there's no one fucking dies.
No one dies. No one.
No one fucking dies.
This anime has no balls. They all live.
Well,
the 2 main characters die, but their spirits return to Earth.
At the end, yes, they fucking die. Sorry. Guys.
Except they come back. They get reborn.
Their spirits return to Earth.
And that's why I don't feel like they did, because they get that stupid.
That's true.
Okay, but anyway, that proves that serves my frustration too. It's just that like all this character setup in the first half of the show, all of it, all the fucking slice of life moments, all the dumb conversations, all the relationship building, all the fucking dumb, stupidly superficial romance of it all. Nothing.
It was weird too, because there were a lot of parts where they were going to tease you with a reveal. It's like, oh, we might tell you something, but no, and they took it away. It was like that part where, what's his name, Zodome, the goofy kid, he went to meet with the adults, and then they kind of give you a feeling like maybe she was his mom, but they never tell you.
Yeah, when he meets the old lady.
Yeah, the old lady, and you kind of get the feeling it's like, oh, maybe we're gonna get something, and then they don't tell you anything.
I want to clarify it. When I meant no one died, I meant like no one from like the main team died. There obviously there are some other people that died.
Half of those
but
kids
no one from like the main team died.
Half of them should have been dead by episode 3. With the way those battles play out. Like thousands of enemies coming at you.
I think all the clones died.
I think
they did, yeah. All the
in a world setting where these are kids that don't have that much fighting experience in the grand scheme of things, going off to fight an entire alien militia as just them as the Force. How the fuck?
Well, hold on. They were raised to fight. Like that's the only thing that they had ever been taught their entire lives. So that's what they were built to do.
They basically like 50 v to 1,000.
True. That's a good point. Well, hey,
every single damn episode.
The power of love, dude.
The power of having my wiener deep in you.
And they aren't emotionally stable kids. Like how are you gonna present them with like, haha, Klaxosaurs on Earth, 1 or 2 of them at a time? Oh, hello, war, space, thousands of ships trying to fucking kill you. Like, it escalated so fast.
Yeah.
And then none of the stakes that they superficially planted in these characters that you were supposed to care about, nothing happens with them. They all have a fucking fluffy ending, including the 2 main characters.
Except for the
except for some of the child, except for the gays and the transsexuals, they die in this show. So that's where my frustration comes from. And then the second thing that frustrates me is 02, because like I said, in the first half of the show, she was cool. Then she got married, and then she was nothing.
So I was really,
what the fuck?
I was really inebriated for most of this because it's all the only way I could get through it. Is it just me though? Is it at the moment where Hiro and 02 kiss? They do kiss about like episode 17 or so.
I feel like they kissed before that.
Whatever.
They kiss early on.
Is that the first episode or second?
There's a point where they kiss, and then after that, everybody is just happy and loving each other, and the team is so well knit. Like at the beginning of the show, they're all like, there's a lot of fighting. They don't like 02. They don't like each other. Blah blah blah. And then like I remember that like that Hero and 02 kiss, and they were like in love. And then boom, everyone loves each other.
Yeah, because
everyone loves 02. She loves them.
Up until that point, 02 was so. She was told as a child that, because she's not human, she's a Klaxosaur clone, basically. And she was told that in order to become human, you have to kill other Klaxosaurs. And the more you kill, the closer you will get to becoming human. And because of that, she basically just used up all of her co-pilots and killed and like worked them to death. Basically fucked them to death.
Oh, she's like Takahata.
Yeah. So she then was doing the same to Hero. Like she was just using and abusing him because she didn't know who he really was. And then she realized, she had like a flashback where she realized, this is the kid that saved me. This is her quote unquote darling. This is the one that she's been wanting to find forever. And so that's when she like kind of turned around and was like, you know, sorry for almost killing him. And instead was like, I'm here with you as a team. And then everybody was like, all right, we're cool with you now.
Okay.
So basically.
Sure.
Yeah. So
no, I'm with you there. But I don't like her like personality shift.
I think after a person basically kills a bunch of your friends, you don't just love them out of nowhere. Like, oh, you just killed all these people. You know, like killed 5 pilots or whatever. Everyone's like afraid of you, and then boom, it's like, oh, I love you. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
You know,
it is. It's bullshit.
But okay, so I also want to bring up the final. Like the final scenes of the show.
Okay.
I did not like the ship the I forgot what they call it, like what 02's like final form basically.
The Strazelia Apus or something.
Yeah. What the fuck was that?
It was weird looking.
Dude.
Why? Like why was that?
It was like a horse girl.
Fuck?
It was White Base from Gundam 0079. Never mind. It wasn't White Base. It was just basically, yeah. That's when it gets kind of ridiculous and that's like a super robot thing where it's like, oh, It's just gonna become more powerful and more convoluted and giant just because it needs to be. And so but that's kind of a super robot trope though. I feel like.
Yeah, nothing makes sense. It's just like at the end when that mech gets basically split in half, and it's over pretty much. And then out of nowhere, they like, oh, the power of love. And then boom, the mech transforms and becomes sleeker and smaller and faster and more powerful and then just destroys everything for no reason.
And it's weird that like it grew her face.
Yeah, very weird. You have to basically just suspend a hell of a lot of disbelief, even inside of an anime that's already absurd, to even wrap your head around what the hell is happening. Because a mech that's half destroyed doesn't just transform into another completely different mech just because some people love each other. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's Super Robot.
Yeah, but that's why I hate Super Robot.
Yeah,
I will always hate it. It's stupid.
Okay. Well,
I mean, why would you want to watch a story where everything in it is Deus Ex Machina?
True.
We're gonna fucking destroy this mech, but the love of power of love, and boom, the mech's like omnipotent out of nowhere and it just destroys everybody.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The whole fucking genre is Deus Ex Machina. It's stupid.
That's fair. Very true.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
No, I'm angry. Oh wow.
The only things I liked about this show, for the most part, were some of the fight scenes and the aesthetics of it. I thought looked good. Other than that, but not the mech designs. I think it's dumb as shit that the mechas have human faces and they talk like humans with facial expressions and everything. Yeah. Are they humans or are they mechas?
They're biomechanical, dude.
They are whatever. I don't care.
I did feel like they struggled between if they wanted this to be like a mecha show or just a sci-fi show. It did feel like they were really struggling with that.
But really, I think the writing is where the show just falls apart. There's so much shit that just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Enzo's point, the 2 masked guys at the end, like we don't even know who they are. No one cares. Do we even know what happened to the Klaxosaur princess? I remember they were like, okay.
Wait, to the princess specifically? She died. So
I don't recall that.
Yeah, she died in the mech with Hero. They were and then that's when 02 came in and she's like, all right, well, I'm going to start piloting this because she was basically dead. And that then transformed into the giant robot that went to space. And the dudes with the mask weren't actual dudes. They were just projections of the alien force that was out in space. They had
but they don't I don't feel like they explained anything.
They did. They project.
Man, this guy right here is like taking notes. He's got a whole notebook.
No, I'm not, and I watched it at 2x
Damn.
speed as well.
Damn.
So I was just.
Am I the only one that missed all this?
I don't know. Did you guys miss all this?
I got it. I just felt like it didn't make sense.
I was confused
felt
as
like
shit.
it was just
They were like shells. Like they just basically made humanoid forms and they projected their voice into them from space, and that's basically what they
Right.
were. And that
Wasn't
became,
it their papa?
yeah, that was Papa.
Yeah. Okay.
Was really the alien in space that projected himself down to Earth. So, and then after the Calaxosaurs, or after it all ended, the Calaxosaurs basically dove into the Earth and then became one with the Earth and like became mountains and stuff like that.
Can I make a plea real quick?
Sure.
Does that make any sense though?
It doesn't. Nothing in the show makes sense.
I think, well, it makes sense in that if you return
They
to
were
the
in
Earth,
the-
you will become part of it. Your biological
But they
creature.
were already down in the earth, and humans like uncovered them by like digging for like fossil fuels. I
Magma.
thought,
Liquid
or
hot-
magma. That was it.
liquid hot
Magma.
magma. So, a plea, and then a question.
Okay.
Never name something as dumb as Calaxosar again. That is the worst name in the history of anime for anything. It just is. It's
Yeah.
stupid. And
I
secondly,
think it's too similar to a Star Trek term that exists.
it's really bad. And second, did they explain? I'm just gonna guess.
Yeah,
Cosmo
every
knows.
question is, did they explain it? I'm like, yes,
Did they explain why you have to have a dick to ride a mech? Because that's like the whole fucking point of the anime.
They didn't explain it deeply, but ultimately it's just what it was.
Yeah,
Like
well, he went deep.
the only way to pilot the mech is to have both a male and female.
That's
And
not good enough.
I know. They didn't explain like why exactly,
Got it.
but that's just what it was. That's what you
Got
had
it.
to
Well,
do.
then the whole anime makes no sense.
Well,
That's the whole damn thing.
I wouldn't say it's the whole anime.
It is. It's
that
the
you
whole
have-
fucking thing. The whole thing about the kids is because they're the ones piloting the mechs because they have penises that can be used because they're not immortal, and so that happens so that they can ride the mech. So if they don't explain to you why that is possible, then the whole fucking show doesn't make us any sense.
I mean,
The whole thing. That's the
agree to
that's the whole
disagree.
thing.
I think that
All
if
right.
they don't explain one aspect
Well,
of
now
it,
I'm
doesn't mean
angry.
the whole thing doesn't make sense.
Now I'm angry.
You're always angry, Mitz.
I'm gonna fucking burn this shit
You
down.
gotta work on that.
I am gonna
That's not good for your
burn
health.
this down.
That's nice. So yeah, look, I feel like I'm coming off as defending the show. I'm really not defending it. I'm just explaining.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just
know
expressing.
that
No, you're
yes,
just
they
explaining.
did
pay
explain
close
all this
attention.
stuff in the show. Whether or not you
Yes,
saw
yes,
it is
but
a whole different thing. I
yes,
can't
but
help.
saying that they have to have a penis to ride a mech
Yeah.
isn't a good enough explanation.
That they didn't explain.
Like
That there was just like just because.
the explanation would be like he has to stick his dick in a hole, and when he ejaculates, the semen powers the mech. That would be an explanation.
Yeah.
But just having a penis doesn't explain why that, whatever.
Right.
The clones backwards though, because the guys were in
So
like the doggy style.
The
position.
clones
Yeah.
were
Well, Unit 9 or whatever.
well. The clones could do either way.
Oh,
They were
okay.
both. So like that's why there was a moment where the main clone dude got into the mech with Hero, and Hero's like, "What are you doing? You can't." He's like,
Right.
I could do both, bro. I got this." And so,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm scoring
Okay,
it. This is
darling.
crazy.
So, all right.
This anime made no sense. The writing was horrible, truly terrible. To go 15 episodes with no plot and then dump all the plot on you with a big plot exposition is just terrible. And then the ending, it was just convoluted, made no sense. I swear to God, one minute they were on Earth fighting, and they were like not able to leave their place, and because no one trusted them anymore. And then 2 minutes later, they were in space fighting. I'm like, okay. So this anime is bad. Only because it looks nice and had some decent action moments in it. I will give it 2 baths of blue blood out of 5. It's about as good as I can do on this one. That's
All
probably
right,
generous.
I can go next.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh man, I don't even know, guys. Like, I don't even know because I do think that it's a shame because this anime it looks great. Like it looks so nice.
Dude, some of
Like
the
my
animation
roommates were
there-
watching me watch it on my projector in the living room, and they all stopped to be like, "Oh, that looks really cool." I'm like, "Yeah, because it is. Like it looks really cool. The aesthetics are like top tier, colors are top tier. The designs, I think, yes, they're shitty, but like in the context of the show, they've moved well and everything. I hated the face animations too,
They were bad.
so I'm with you there. And you know what? Like for characters that are like low key dead inside, like sometimes there were exchanges where I was just like, okay, sure, this wedding is corny as fuck, but like maybe this is gonna go somewhere. Okay, cool. Right, and then at that point, I'm like, I'm at a 3 out of 5 because I've seen worse things out there. Right, I've seen worse things. And then like the whole second half happens where like it is like proof in the pudding of how much writing and pacing matters. Like you cannot go from like very like down like grounded plot, grounded in this context, grounded on Earth plot to fucking Mars space warfare in like 5 episodes or like in 6 episodes. You can't do that well in a way where we care that much unless you nailed the first half, and they don't really nail the first half, so I don't really give a fuck about the bad second half. I don't
So
like
much
that
vulgarity.
none of the characters were pushed past an emotional like limit for us, our emotional limit for these characters. Like the couple that got married, if one of them had just fucking got killed or something, like sure, dude, great. That would have been nice or entertaining or game changing for the plot, but nope. They're all good. They all grow up at the last scene of the show. They all grow up to be happy, and they're like seeing kids being raised and shit. Villains, as someone who watches the Marvel DC movies, like villains matter. These villains didn't give a fuck about them.
They were bad.
Even if they were explained or
faceless.
not, like they were just not good. So I didn't care. And then on top of all that, the weird conservative agenda of it all, plus doggy style mechanics to pilot fucking mechs. This show to me is like a fucking. Okay.
Is it a dumpster fire?
Oh my god! The thing is, like, this show, like objectively, shittiest fucking plot writing I've seen, but one of the best animations in a while. So like it has to be a 2 out of 5, but a very, very generous 2 out of 5 from me.
Wow. Mandy, you want to go?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I saw people in chat mentioning a fake death threat. Did I miss that? I don't remember
I
that.
missed it.
Fake death threat?
Yeah.
Don't
Did I miss
recall.
something? I don't remember that.
I don't know. I need more info.
I don't know,
what
dude.
the-
I already blacked
I'm
out
sure
the
it was
rest-
Ichigo. I'm sure it was, because she was awful for a while.
I blacked out this anime just now. I don't remember.
I think I must have missed that part. I apologize. I don't remember a fake death threat.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, my points have already been basically expressed. The pacing was awful. I thought at first, when I first started the anime, I was like, I could probably give this a 6 because I thought it was just going to be some dumb fun,
6?
just something
Damn,
stupid to
6.
watch.
6 out of 5?
Damn.
Wait, did I say? Oh, I meant out of 10. Sorry, out of 10. 6 out of 10.
So a 3.
Which would be like a 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't. And then the pacing just went out of the wall. Like it was like reveal after reveal, and I was like, I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just gonna keep watching because it did look cool. Like Enzo said, it was like it looked amazing, and I feel really bad penalizing all those like really talented artists that worked on it because of a really poor story. And I mean, it's obvious what the message is. It's telling Japan go out and fucking have children.
Basically.
But I did not like how they handled the only one who was bedridden at the end was the one who was confirmed lesbian. That pissed me off a lot at the end. I was like,
Totally.
what? Why is she the only one dying?
Totally, dude. Oh my god.
But
Because she's not gonna have kids.
I know. I was
That's
like,
pretty much
all
what it
right,
is.
all right, thanks, Japan. Anyways,
Basically,
but
if you
I
don't
thought
have kids, you're worthless.
exactly. That's the message I got out of it. I was gonna give it a 2, but because I enjoyed the art and the animation so much, I'm gonna give it up to a 2.5 because there was a point where I was like, I don't care what's going on, but it looks cool.
Yeah. All right. So I will give my piece, I guess. So I shared a lot of the same problems with the show as you guys did. The pacing was terrible. Like the story, I mean, again, I feel like they had so much to work with if they had just stuck to the script. It's like, just don't get crazy. Just stick to the script. This is an interesting enough story. Just tell it just straight up. And they decided to get all wacky with it, and it really kind of took me out of it. That being said, I also agree with you, Mandy, as far as like the animation I thought was done really well. There's many moments where even not in mechs, just the humans like walking around, the fluidity of their motion is done really well. You know, like the hair swaying and things like that.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, so they're putting forth a decent amount of effort here, and of course it's Studio Trigger. They're not like some new kid on the block. So animation was done really well. The overall concept, I think, could have been done well, but they kind of flopped on it. I will say there were some moments in this show where I legitimately was like moved emotionally, and I know that might be crazy to say.
Aww.
But like,
no, I feel you.
It's
I
fine.
feel you, dude.
But yeah, there are moments like when you really get into like these kids have their entire life just been created for a purpose of just being used and disposed of. And despite all that, and they've had their emotions removed from them and all of this, but despite all that, they still are just so naturally drawn to love. And it's like, that's just so profoundly ingrained in us as humans that even all of this, even though you're not really even a human, like you still end up back there. And so that really kind of touched me.
In a private place.
In a deep place.
In a deep place.
Yeah. And so I did appreciate that, despite all the other things that really annoyed me. You know, and some of the fight scenes, I was like, hey, these are hype. I'm having fun here. So I think overall, even though I wouldn't recommend watching the show, it's not worth your time. There's so many better shows you can watch. But I would have to give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, so that's 6.5, 9.5. What?
They did mention in chat what the death threats were. It was actually the Ichigo Seiyu received death threats because of when she kissed Hiro. I had to look it up.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Right? That is so stupid.
That's so
That's
dumb.
gonna make the final
Anime
score for
fans,
this a 2.5.
stop it.
2.5.
Yeah. I want to echo what Kazuo said, because like the show does have a lot of, if you like want to dig into it and find those meanings, like they're totally there, and I see where he's coming from. It's just a damn shame that that it's just so sexual at the same time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it ends up with a 2.5 average, which I feel is reasonable.
I'll give it to. I'm okay with it.
I will say what I found funny is on my anime list, it has like a 7.73 or something like that. But if you look at the written reviews, I think there's only like 4 of them, and 3 of the 4 gave it a 1, and 1 of the 4 gave it a 3. So the only people that on my anime list that have actually like deeply examined the show and written out a review have scored it very poorly.
I also think it's very interesting. The one person who hated the show the most, the highest score.
Oh, I didn't read the review. I just saw the scores. But that's funny.
All right, well, I don't think we're gonna do mailbags today because we're just running long again. But I think we're gonna do a mailbag episode pretty soon.
Okay.
That'll help us get through. That'll get us, to where we need to be. So, yeah, well, that was a pretty long, in-depth review of Darling and the Franxx. I think. I don't know. I know this is a massively popular show. So
yeah,
I mean, if you like it, don't get mad at us though.
Oh, they will.
You
No
should
hate
like
mail.
whatever you
They
like.
always do. If you don't like what they like, then you are directly insulting them.
No, it's fine.
and if you want to watch people actually make love, there's an anime called Bible Black.
Oh my god.
Oh my
That you
god.
can
I don't
go
know.
watch.
I don't know if what they do I would call love.
Well, but that's what the show wants you to. That's what the show is. The whole show is.
There's a couple in Bible Black, if I recall.
I'm just saying that, like, if you want to watch people have sex, just go watch Bible Black.
And if you want to hear about more hentai, tune
You could
into our
listen-
hentai episodes.
A hentai episode, which we will be recording right after this, where Kazuo has a pretty fun story to tell,
Oh boy.
and we will probably
no.
continue watching our girl falls through the ceiling hentai, so we can see
That's
how the
great.
story
Here's the
ends.
question:
Oh, yes.
better or worse than Darling in the Franxx?
Oh, the ceiling
Better.
thing?
Oh, better.
Better writing,
Absolutely.
animations there.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
The
better.
music is
music's
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
Music selection amazing. Yep.
All right.
Not even kidding. This is not.
It has like
sarcasm.
classical music.
All right, Mitz, you want to bring us home?
All right, guys. So thanks so much for listening. Another long one. Next week, we are going to be doing what? I don't know.
Who knows? You tell me. I just work here.
Well, next week we have another review for you that we're going to be doing from a recent season. So we're going to be doing a review on Hisone Tomaso-tan, and we're going to be doing Monster Hunt, Best Monsters and Hunters from Anime, suggested by Rai from the forum, from the Discord.
Sweet.
So stay tuned for that next week. Of course, if you want to join the Addicts, you can do it at our website, AAAPodcast.com. Throw us a couple bones. You'll make sure this podcast continues to exist, and we will shower you with additional content and love. And little cross-shaped glitters that Trigger will want you to have.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Trigger crosses.
All right, guys. So until then, I hope everyone has a great week. I hope you enjoyed listening, and we'll see you next time on the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye-bye.